believe, here from Asia. Go, or possibly Asiago, a minor township with the title of the city in the surrounding plateau region in the province of Vicenza, in the Veneto region of northeastern Italy. We are here today with ESL Open Cup Asia. No, wait, this way. Asia Division number 239. I am, of course, your host, Yaku of Rizaku, and with me today is La que le gusta zeste, que yo manap es bastante bexte. Light _ VIP. How are we doing, Light?
The hell did you just say? What's up, Yago? It's great to be here. It's great to be back once again with another ESL Open Cup Asia. As you mentioned, your weekly dose of Korean StarCraft, and even a little bit extra on top of that, a little bit of spice here with some of the American boys that have rocked up in South Korea, and we're going to be featuring one of them in this series.
Indeed, we are. What a treat that we have here. It's so rare that we get to kick things off with a TVZ, but that's what we're doing today. Here we have it on Dynasty over here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left. We have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing Gaming Gladiators. GG! We have Shin.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the American Terran player, the Yellow Terran, representing Maturino Esports, going for an interesting opener with a Rax expand, but not the way you would expect. It is Future.
It's a half.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a half Bjorn.
Yeah, sure. Kind of. I mean, there's no Reaper. It's like a quarter Bjorn, or like a third.
Yeah, it's Beyond-ish.
Yeah. So an interesting opening here out of Future, even chasing down that Overlord as well. Very committed the Overlord is going to be going down. Meanwhile, if you're in the chat, of course, predictions are open. Predictions actually have now closed at this point. So play show bets, and I believe this series will go. But again, Future going for the CC, going for the goal base. Bold move. I'm a little bit surprised that Dynasty was not vetoed by Shin, but it must be for a reason, as the Overlord is going to go down.
Yeah, if there was ever going to be a Zerg player in the current era of StarCraft 2 who wouldn't veto some of these trickier maps, some of these maps that are maybe not as favorable to Zerg, but can allow for a couple of unique builds, it would be Shin.
Oh yeah, speaking of unique builds, you normally don't take this goal base as a fourth, because you expand here at your third base, then you take it as a fourth, but no, we're rushing into it, and the SCV Scout will confirm. So both players are trying to rush into their goal bases behind this Future, opening up with a 1-1-1. Delayed third TC, so Future is going to be a little bit more chaotic, is going to be a little bit more aggressive here in the follow-up.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing that add-on swap. We are, as a matter of fact. A little bit interesting to see it in the wall to your natural base, a little bit more of a risk, but I'm guessing that's what the initial Hellion is for here for Future, just to get a little bit of map control, make sure that it's safe to swap.
Just a little bit of map control with the one Hellion.
Not too much.
We're going to be doubling down with additional Hellions. We also cannot go for an add-on swap for the Starport because the Starport is on the high ground, so it is going to be a Liberator into a Hellbat push. Okay, I was curious how aggressive we wanted to be. It is going to be Hellbats out of Future. Meanwhile, Shin is investing into those Roaches.
That he is. Oh boy. It feels like 2021, was it? 2021 or 2022? Again, where TBZ was literally nothing but Roaches. It was, I think, after that season where Rogue just made nothing but Roaches and won a GSL Code S.
Yeah,
coming back quite a bit lately.
Yeah, we do see. I mean, we expect to see it here on Dynasty just because it's the only way to punish the gold. If Shin want to try and punish this gold mineral line, Roach Ravager is the way to do it. Speaking of, Roaches are going to be rallying here towards that mineral line. At the same time, Future is still building up and getting ready for his eventual move out. Hellions are being active. Armory is done.
And he's just getting ready. He does scout these Roaches, and he does have the Liberator ready if he does want to send it back, but no, Future, he is committed.
Yeah, the Liberator does not turn back around. Hellion's going to deal with the Roaches. Not the best trade for Future, but he will eventually clean this up, as it takes a lot of Hellion shots to kill a Roach.
Indeed it does, but you know, if you can line them up well, if your micro is absolutely godlike, you can trade pretty well, especially when you have Hellbats on the line, but 90% of the time, it's not a good trade for Terran, and this case is no exception.
Yeah, the Hellion Hellbat is going to be cleaned up, and now we can lay siege upon the mineral line. Liberator has arrived. That's going to be the second lib here for Future, as the first one across the map was actually deflected as well. Wait, did it go down? It did.
What?
The Spore
did.
The Spore and the Queen. I guess I'm not too sure what killed it, but the Liberator did go down to the Spore and the Queen. And alas, Future has been bleeding out a lot of units already, but the Cyclones have arrived.
And it will be able to deal with all of these roaches in the end. Future not taking too much more SCV damage. Only 4 SCVs went down, so could have been a lot worse for him, definitely. But yeah, it's a little unfortunate that he was never able to get his build off the ground. He wasn't quite able to execute his initial push.
This Queen has a kill. Just I was trying to find the Queen that killed the Liberator. I think it's this Queen right here. I think it's got 1 kill on it. At first I was like, yo, did the Queen and the Liberator kill each other? But no Queen has gone down this game, so I'm assuming that's what happened. Regardless, we do defend. Future likewise cleans up all the roaches.
That Queen gonna be winning silver at the Olympics. It is a sharpshooter.
There you go. Is a hit woman.
Yeah.
Hired by the Swarm.
Is bald.
Yeah. We have one more mission
on
for
the back
you.
of its head.
Snipe the lib.
Yeah.
I just want to raise a family and inject a hatchery. No.
Yeah. We need you once again.
We're coming out of retirement.
Your country needs you. The Swarm needs you.
Exactly. As after the chaos and the again aggressive nature of the game, we're gonna be calming things down a little bit. Future takes control of the gold base. Likewise, Shin also takes advantage of his gold as well. So we're all up and running. We're fully saturated. And who do I favor here in this kind of setup? I mean, Shin has free reign and is gonna be able to join up quite nicely here up to 4 base saturation.
Yeah, he does have the map control. He is going to be playing very greedy from here on out, or ideally he's going to be playing greedy from here on out. He's actually still producing roaches behind all of this, but getting the infestation pit, so you know that he is still thinking long term.
Yeah, he is taking up at least, but isn't droning, as you did point out. I mean, we don't need too much saturation just because of the gold. Like, the gold does allow us to get away with a bit of a lower drone count, and we're just doubling down on Roach Ravager. And the question becomes, is Future going to be in position for this? His army is over towards the left-hand side. He's protecting the gold mineral line. He's not protecting his natural.
Yeah, he does have a tank in position, but is that tank really going to be enough? Thankfully, he does have all those, all of that bio and all of those cyclones that can come in for a little bit of surround.
They can attempt this around, a little bit awkward. Rax is forced to be lifted. They're going to be surviving. They do float away, and then we just rotate over towards that flanking army.
Yeah, and we're going to completely crush all of this. The tank, thankfully, was able to evacuate to the high ground, but that's still a lot of damage that's going to be dealt to this Terran. I was going to say bio army, but it's actually a lot of cyclones in the mix as well, so...
Yeah,
Terran army in general.
Yeah, it's an army. It's an army to speak of. Meanwhile, we just rotate over towards the right-hand side. We're collapsing here on top of the Marines and the Marauders, and we are bleeding out a lot of bio units here. The medevacs doing whatever they can. Tanks are once again repositioning, but the Ravagers, if they can get close enough, they can bile down that tank.
Those are some of the absolute cleanest bile shots that I saw earlier on, taking out 2 of those tanks at that gold base, and now there's barely any, in fact, there's 0 tanks remaining here for Future. Roaches and Ravagers do get cleaned up in the end, but the very fact that he was able to clean up that tank count, trade well against Terran army with only roaches, is already a good sign here for Shin.
Yeah, and he's denying mining at the gold base as well. We're going to be rotating over, and it looks like the Ravagers are going to be cleaned up, but we have reinforcements on the way. Shin, he's just hammering down that R key. Non-stop roach production out of Shin, and he is going to take control of that gold base. He will not allow any mining whatsoever, and Future is stuck on a 2-base economy.
And Shin got that infestation pit. It finished up a while ago, but it looks like he's not even going to need it. He is just holding down that Archie, as you said, sending in a couple of lings when he's low on gas, and he's just going to end it. GG. Shin, taking game number 1.
GG, well played. Shin will take a lead here, and it was a really interesting build out of Future. Unfortunately, he was working towards a Hellbat push against a player that was embracing roaches. Roaches are quite common on Dynasty because of that gold mineral line, and we saw that the initial plan, the initial build of Hellbats didn't really come into fruition.
Yeah, unfortunately not. And it was just a strong start for Shin from the beginning all the way to the end. From the fact that he just wasn't taking any damage whatsoever from an opening from Shin, or from an opening from Future, that was designed to deal a lot of damage, to trade well against workers specifically in the early game,
Mhm.
or at the very least reset the queen count in the early game, just perpetually set him behind for the rest of it.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you never. That's why when you go full Bjorn, you gotta commit.
You do.
None of this one racks on the low ground, add-on swap with the factory. Nah.
I mean, Future,
Full Bjorn.
he does his own thing. He goes full Future here. I mean, Future, he's known for his own peculiar builds and peculiar setups. I'm curious if we're going to be seeing the infamous eBay block in this matchup as well. I'm always excited to cast on Future.
That's what was missing. Yeah, that's what lost him the game, really.
True.
More than anything else. You gotta stick to who you are. Anyway, speaking of sticking to who you are, we are going to be moving on to Amphion. Over here in the bottom left-hand corner map, swinging all the way in the bottom left, we of course have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He's of course going to be representing the Gaming Gladiators. We have Shin Ramyun.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the American Terran player once again going for interesting what looks to be a bit of a fake proxy Rax opener, representing Matchuino Esports. It is Future.
I like this Rax placement from Future because it's like kind of a fake out, but also not.
Yeah.
Really. I mean,
Otherwise
you just take a few steps into the base and you'll be like, oh yeah, there's your Rax. It's not a proxy.
Well, I mean, Shin is going pool first, so there's a lot going on right now. So Shin opening up pool first, the Overlord, when it scouts, will confirm that the Rax is missing, and that might force an overreaction. Regardless, Ling is going to be on the way, and the goal here for Shin is to delay the expansion of Future.
Indeed, he is. But till then, as he'll be setting up.
Yeah, SCV is being sent across the map, CC on the low ground. Meanwhile, when it comes to the pool first, we are making a queen. We are only making 2 Lings, so Shin is actually not going to be committing too hard to this. Looks like more or less a safety pool first opener out of Shin, just to be secure, and yeah, we can see that there's nothing really to be secure about. We're just entering a really... We're getting towards the, like a standard game setup, but we're getting there in a really weird way.
Indeed we are. Yeah, this is... I feel for Future here. I feel like I've been in a scenario like this where I do something and I'm like, I'm gonna fake you out. And my opponent just doesn't scout me at all. Has no idea that I'm thinking so far ahead.
Oh god, yes. We think we're playing chess and checkers, but it's really just 2 completely different games right now, and we're trying to keep up with each other.
We think we're playing chess and checkers, but really we're playing Twister or something. Really, we're just slapping each other.
Let's go. Meanwhile, okay, so Shin, he's mining through these middle patches. Looks like he wants to take the triangular third base, a bit of a safer third base location. Meanwhile, Future is going for, once again, a delayed third TC into a 2-1-1.
Like so. A little bit more of an active style this time, coming out from Future. A little bit more of an active opening. We're going to be seeing him move out much earlier on with Marines. He's going to be looking to clear creep. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with a 2-on-1.
Yeah, as opposed to the previous game, this time, like, no Hellbat push, right? No Heli in production either. We should be working towards a starport, reactor, add-on swap. The 2-on-1s in general are not really seen too often, and nowadays, whenever we see it, it's like 3cc 2-on-1 as well, so a little bit old school out of Future, and we'll see how he does bring it all together, especially because we are actually going to be delaying our reactor here and delaying our starport.
Yeah, not quite the full-on. Yeah, not quite the full-on classic 2-on-1. There we go.
Yeah, so we're
okay,
getting
so technically we're getting there, yeah. But just interesting that Future prioritized bunker instead.
As Overlord comes in for a scout, checking Shin's vision. He did get eyes on the building starport. He's fully aware of the 2-on-1 opener, so Shin has seen everything he needs to. And it's on Shin to respond, it's on Shin to respect it. Bagatomi spreading creep, getting his third base, and droning up, and yeah, it should be able to settle in quite nicely. There's potential for damage for future, but Shin knows what he has to get ready for.
Yeah, we're going to be getting ready. We're going to be getting a whole bunch of lings, ideally. I wonder how effective banelings would be now. Because it used to be that with 2-on-1, banelings aren't that effective in the early game, just because, you know, with slow banes, it's not that difficult for Simmarines to kite them. But nowadays...
Yeah, if we thought it was going to be like a 2-on-1 Hellbat push, then banelings could be effective. But for now, a single Evo Chamber is the correct response. We're going for +1 carapace. That's all we're spending our gas on. We're droning, making lings, spreading creep, and yeah, so far Shin is being quite efficient here. And we'll see if Future can get any damage done as he's now moving out, and Shin does have the tools to defend.
Yeah, it's got a lot of queens looking to intercept these medevacs. The reaction from Future going to be pulling away and dropping outside, where slightly outside, where it's kind of safe to drop.
Yeah, can maybe catch a tumor. First tumor's going to be going down. We go for the queens, but we have a transfuse. The queen does survive, and we do zone the double drop away. We're going to try and dive into the main bold move here out of Future. Oh.
A bold move out of Future, but not necessarily a bad one, if not for the fact that there was a Spore Crawler already waiting. Literally one hit from anything right now will kill this medevac and 8 Marines in it.
Yeah, Future can try to evacuate if he uses the other medevac to tank, but like he has to be very careful and he has to pray that Shin isn't target firing.
This is why I think Terran should have recall.
Smooch. Why don't medevacs have the teleportability of BCs, right?
Yeah?
Why?
They're made of the same stuff.
Are they?
You know?
Huh?
Yeah.
It's all metal.
They both fly.
They both fly.
It's all metal.
Yeah.
Except for the ones that are cardboard. But
just strap a fusion core onto a medevac. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, what could go wrong? Anyway, we got a full surround top of his tank. Yeah. Lings are going to get cleaned out, but again, resetting the tank count is absolutely already a huge payoff for Shin.
Oh yeah, exactly. The tank goes down. Shin is going to be able to drone up, get up to 4-base saturation. 4th hatchery is on the way. And Shin is getting to Ling Bane a Hydra. There's no secure way to shut down these medevacs yet. Once we get a Hive, we can work towards Vipers. But until then, the medevacs are going to be safe for now. And Future, his goal, I guess, at this point is to hope that maybe the queens rotate. And then we can maybe get out. Maybe.
Yeah, potentially. That's also what this other drop is ideally going to be useful for. Pulling a couple of these queens out of position, ideally.
Yeah, we'll see.
I hear the wolf again.
Yeah, the wolf, it's there, Bobby. It's there. We're not hearing things. I'm with you.
Yeah. Well, we could be hearing things.
We could be. Yeah, we could just both be going insane.
Yeah.
Go through them just one wolf.
But, exactly. I don't think that's too likely. What could possibly point to us losing it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Right, we're there to check each
more
other.
Sound and mentally sound than we are. Oh no.
As we are going to try to break out. The other thing that Future could try to do is try to snipe the queens, right? If he goes for another double drop here on the left-hand side, if he's able to bring down these queens, and he can free up that supply as well. Speaking of, we are moving towards the left-hand side. Meanwhile, Shin is able to drone before base saturation. We can now focus on Ling Bane Hydra, and Shin should be able to keep up.
Yeah, especially since Future has now switched into Widowmine production, which, funnily enough, isn't great against Hydras.
Yeah,
Imagine sending the whole, army just to save those 2 medevacs. that would be cool.
Yeah, saving Private Ryan, but we gotta save the boys. Yeah. They're out there like in the middle of space. They're running out of food on the medevacs. They can only hold on for so long. We have to save them.
Exactly. Divert everything. Now the double drop coming out to the south, but Shin, he's on top of all of this. He's also got the Hydralist now, which means that he will be able to much more easily keep up with all these drops. It's getting tougher and tougher here for Future to get value.
Yeah, it really is, as Future. I mean, likewise, back at home, he's also pretty well fortified. We haven't seen any kind of Ling aggression outside of the first Ling Flood or the first Ling counterattack, so we're going to be able to slowly get our 4th base, and Future's keeping up supply-wise. Again, we'll see if we can end up breaking out. Likewise, Shin, just now joining up to 80, can now focus on maxing out himself, and I believe is still not gotten a hive. There we go, just now on the way. Up!
Yeah, we're getting there. Oof. Good little connection here on Bailing's for Shin, taking out a little chunk of these Marines and a couple of Widow Mines as well. And one Widow Mine as well.
And one Widow Mine did go down. We can see Future setting up, making use of the terrain, and a very annoying position for these tanks as they reduce so much service area.
Yeah, love to see it.
Oh, can we do it? Can we save them?
We're gonna try the Marines! Gonna be pulling back a little bit here. The Queen's still manning their positions.
Ooh, yeah.
Massive like a Banelings.
Yeah, we come in from behind. We collapse on top of the tanks. The tanks are going to be cleaned up, and alas, we do not free. Oh, no! It went down!
No, what did it know?
What happened?
No!
Ryan! Ryan, he went down. And now we're going for a massive counterattack as well. We deny mining here at the Planetary. Planetary's on the way. It looks like it will hold on.
Yeah, technically here for Future. He's still going to be able to keep up economically, but... oh, man, that was... He's going to be able to keep up economically, but he's still behind now after losing that army.
Yeah, it was that medevac, that drop. It was
That's that drop.
Did go down. We can see Shin setting up for his own push now as he is maxed out. So finally, we do see Future going across the map likewise. We could end up going for a bit of a pseudo base trade as Shin is going for the 3rd base and there's not much of him to defend.
Oh, the armory is over here as well. That's going to deny +2 ground weapons, or +2 vehicle weapons. The Banelings could be busting on through into the natural base. Tanks go down, and the production is very, very vulnerable now.
Yeah, meanwhile, that medevac did just dive into the main. It goes down. No! We eviscerate the economy. 44 SPs going to be going down, and Future has to commit to the base trade. He will get a base. We'll maybe even get the natural as well. But Banelings are going to be denied.
Yeah, not too bad here. And Shin on the other side of the map, you know, he spent all of his Banelings and most of his Lings as well. Doesn't really have too much of an army on the map. He is going to be relying entirely on reinforcements to defend.
Exactly, as Shin, he busts into the main base. He's came to the production of Future at the same time as you mentioned. Future does take some Banelings to the face. The splits were okay, but not ideal. The hive is going to be going down, and we are making our way towards the main of Shin.
Yeah, we're at the point right now where just 1 or 2 good Baneling connections will be enough to end this for Shin, but I don't think he can afford Banelings, actually.
Yeah, Shin, he doesn't have much to work with. We're going to be losing our tech as well. Spawning pool does go down, and Vipers do make it out, but Shin is going to be trapped in his own main, and he has to race back home.
That he does. His Planetary still up and running here for Future, so he has a very, very secure base of operations. He actually has a decent-ish economy. I mean, it's not great, but compared to what Shin has, it's very much more secure.
Yeah, he's got the Planetary, he's got 1 base up and running. Meanwhile, Shin, he's on 1.5. He's on 1.5 saturation here. He is rebuilding that spawning pool as we speak, so for the time being, what you see is what you get for Shin, but he still has Vipers, and with Vipers, we can Blinding Cloud, we can Parasitic Bomb, we have a lot more potential here with Shin's army.
Indeed, we do, but this is the only army that he's going to have for now, as most of the tech has been taken out for Shin. I was wondering why he wasn't making Banelings. It's because his Baneling nest got killed.
Yeah.
He's remaking the spawning pool now. He doesn't have a Hydra Den anymore. He doesn't have a lair to make a Hydra Den. Shin needs to buy a lot of time, or at the very least... well, yeah, he needs to buy a lot of time to hold up and get himself back to a tech level that can compete with Future's army.
Yeah, but the problem for Future here is the supply block. He's been supply blocked the entire time, so Future, even though he has production and he has an economy, he cannot spend that money. Not right now. Shin can, as we have preserved most of the Overlord, so Shin is going to be able to get back into his overall production. Meanwhile, Future needs time as well to get himself set up.
That he does. He does. So we're going to be slowing things down for a very long time as both of our players are now kind of turtling up. Look at Future trying to be active, which he should be. I think he knows that he is behind economically at this point. He needs to go out on the map and find value wherever he can. And of course, with these medevacs, he always has the opportunity to try to pick up and leave. Super tricky though with all these Hydras that manage to survive.
Yeah, the Hydras, the Vipers as well with their abduction, so it's going to be difficult to really be too active on the map. Speaking of, that tank is looking exposed.
And that tank is looking yoinked.
Tank does.
That was the only tank.
Yeah, the only tank here on the front lines. The others are a little bit further back. We're only being active with the Bio Army, and Shin is double expanding. He's double expanding. He's getting back up to a decent economy. Shin, the spawning pool is now done. Hydrogen is now done. We can now actually make an army.
Well, we still need money for that. We have what we have the foundation. We have the tech to make an army. We just don't have the minerals to pay them, or I guess we don't really pay Zerg units, but
they have their little Zerg wallets, like in their back pocket.
Yeah.
As we do, almost catch the Viper.
Yeah, almost, but not quite. In my mind, they're like little Zerg wallets, are like little koala pouches or kangaroo pouches.
No, yeah, for the Hydra, right? They have like a pouch on their front.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's where they keep their money.
Hydras are basically
and their babies.
They're big kangaroos.
Exactly. That's why they jump.
That is what they do. Yes, they're known for jumping. The Hydra.
Yeah. Yeah.
His future is going to be moving out, spreading out as well. He has potential with this army, but again, the blinding clouds are the big thing that I'm concerned about, and we're just going to be collapsing it. Barely not, as Shin is forced back.
Yeah, Viper's not in position. They were back at home, sucking on some youth juice. But here they are now. Blinding clouds do get thrown down, and these tanks can't really do much of anything.
Yeah, we clean up the tanks, we clean up the Bio Army as well, and Shin is going to be able to bust through this. GG gets called, and Shin will take the series 2-0.
GG. Nicely done here.
GG, well played. They will take the series in the end, and yeah, a bit of a chaotic end to the game. Again, the base trade was maybe the best chance that Future had. He did do a lot of damage with it, but unfortunately was unable to really end the game, was unable to end Shin there, and yeah, Shin did have just enough left over to recover, to stabilize.
Those queens, man. The absolute MVPs of the game there for Future, because we're kind of memeing about it a little bit, but unironically, 16 Marines early on in the game that literally are not doing anything, and they cannot do anything, is absolutely huge, especially when you're going for an active style like a 2-on-1. There were certain points in around the, I think, 6 or 7 or 8 minute mark, somewhere around there, where Future had a high army supply. But effectively, because all those Marines were stuck in the middle of the map, he couldn't do anything with that. He was stuck, and it just allowed Shin to get into his groove, macro up, and have complete map control.
Oh yeah, did have that map control, and as you mentioned, like, so much supply tied up that early on is that much more important, that much more impactful as well. So Shin, congratulations, will take the first series, and now we're getting ready for our next matchup here. Switching on over, let's have a look at the bracket.
Yeah, so we actually have quite a number of updates coming down already. So here we go from the top. Clem currently facing up against Fork. Fork previously beating Praetor 2-0. Nice to see him coming back a little bit, both Praetor and Fork. Both of them used to be quite a lot more active a couple of years ago, but life kind of got in the way, but it does look like they are coming back a little bit. Creator took out Nightmare 2-0.
Ooh.
That is the result. Nightmare, the PvP sniper for several years.
Yeah, and Nightmare may be playing a little bit too much Stormgate, as Nightmare was actually playing in Tasteless's event over the weekend. He was playing, I think he was playing Vanguard.
My head.
Yeah.
Vanguard?
Yeah, he was playing Terran.
I can't tell if Vanguard are Terran or if they're Zerg, because they are humans, but they have dogs. But they have doggos.
They do have doggos. Yeah, that is a little bit confusing. It's
yeah.
Down the doggos.
It's
So
hard to really place them. Yeah.
So that's a big win there for Creator, as you mentioned. We should be seeing like a Clem versus Creator match in the quarterfinals, which would be a lot of fun. But best of luck to Fork, as he is currently facing off against Clem. Scrolling down, no other updates for Astray and Silky. They're still mid-series. Likewise, Rex and Oliveira still mid-series as well.
Indeed, they are. On the other hand, we do have Björn taking out Azura 2-0. So now he's currently waiting for either Rogue or Classic as his next opponent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Rogue and Classic is being covered by Wardy. That was our other big series that we were looking at, but we did want to try to split up and try to spread out. And yes, I have confirmation. Wardy is casting that series, so he's got you covered with that ZVP.
There we go. Soon into a TV. One of those. That's TV. And then, of course, the final update that we have on the bracket here. Dash taking out his opponent. Ycax? Ycax?
Maybe?
Ycax? So apostrophe there, so. Ycax, maybe.
Dash, he takes out his opponent to the
Taking out his opponent.
Yeah, he's up against Gumiho in the next round. They're mid-series, so we will be jumping. We'll try to either jump into their game number 2 or game number 3, or we'll follow the winner into Shin, as we are focusing our attention here at the bottom of the bracket.
Yeah, fingers crossed that we will be able to jump into that match, that little PVT in Dash versus Gumiho. I think it'll be really interesting. And yeah, lately, Dash has been a lot more active, signing up in a lot of these events. Unfortunately, we haven't really been able to get our teeth into that. We haven't really been able to get our eyes and cast the comeback of Dash, so to speak. But yeah, hopefully today is going to be that day.
Yeah. Hopefully we're able to catch some more Dash action in this weekly tournament. So we have kind of everything set up for us in a sense. So we're going to be focusing on the lower half of the bracket. Again, Wardy will be covering Rogue v Classic into Björn. When it comes to the upper half of the bracket, I'm not too sure if many people are covering those matches. I mean, the potential Estrella versus Oliveira or Estrella versus Rex looks like a lot of fun. Like, it looks like some really good matches potentially occurring in the quarterfinals. But hopefully someone is able to cover those series.
Yeah, it looks like we do have a couple of other language classes coming in today. We have Inu casting in Korean. It looks like Koka is casting Classic versus Rogue. That's gonna be continue on, as is Inu.
I imagine so bad, the Chinese caster. I think he should be following Oliveira. I don't know if he is, but he should be.
So bad. Oh, you mean Sobadi?
I know what I said. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so bad Rush.
Sobadi Rush.
Sure, yeah, him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we just got an update. Classic took out Rogue 2-0.
So Rogue has been eliminated. Big win for Classic, and Classic has been on fire as of late. So he is going to be taking a lead in, or he's going to be advancing on into the next round, and he's going to be facing off against Björn. Technically, we could jump on that series. Björn versus Rogue looks like a lot of fun, but again, we do want to try and stay spread out and try to avoid each other, and try to cover as much ground as we can.
Yeah, we got another TVP to cast.
Yeah, exactly.
No, fingers crossed we will.
Yeah.
Could end up being another TVZ or a PVZ that we end up casting.
Yeah. So I guess we have a little bit of downtime here. We're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll either have Gumiho versus Dash, or we'll have the winner versus Shin. It's going to be one of the two. Otherwise, take this moment, get some snacks, get some water, go to the bathroom, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and get ready for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, stretch your roaches. Marinate your banshees.
Milk your SCVs.
Tanks. Yeah, SCVs.
Okay,
Think about it, tanks are like the cows of Terra.
I'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. See you soon.
are back finally after weeks of not being able to cast this particular player. We're going to be able to jump into mid-series of Gumiho versus Dash, and I got a couple of our eyes going down here to figure out what our players are looking like. We kick it off. Well, we kick it off here on Oceanborn, but our players continue it off here on Oceanborn. We're over here at the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right. We, of course, have our blue Terran player coming down from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing Cloud9. Not in Heroes of the Storm, but in StarCraft, we have Gumiho.
Jack, I don't think they have a Heroes of the Storm team anymore.
Not anymore.
Okay. And
they used to.
That's spawning. In the top left-hand corner, we have the Filipino Protoss player, the Red Protoss himself, representing Blacklist International. It is Dash. We go. We are going to be settling in. As you did mention, Dash has been a little bit MIA, did recently join Blacklist International alongside Creator a couple of months ago, and when that did occur, there's been a lot of pressure on Dash. I remember him messaging me saying like, oh, now I have to play in as much as I can, like I have to like get ready, I have to improve, I have to you know, keep up with my senpai Creator. Keep up.
Yeah. Keep it up. Pick it up.
Yeah, so it's great to see him here competing in ESL Asia. But how does he compare to Gumiho? Again, we're jumping in mid-series. Gumiho is leading 1-0, which, again, to be expected. Gumiho is a big favorite coming into the most recent Home Story Cup champion.
That's true. Forgot about it. It felt like forever ago, but it was actually only about a month ago at most. Maybe 2 months ago. When Home Story Cup happened, he had that extremely close finals against Showtime. And it does look like his TVP, at the very least, is on point.
Yeah, he has a very unique style of TVP as well. I'm sure we're going to be embracing some of it. Unfortunately, missed out on what happened in Game 1, but of course is leading the series. And we can see Dash opening up with his tech of choice, going for a Twilight Council opener.
What I have to wonder is if Gumiho went mass tanks in game number 1, or if he'll whip it out as well in game number 2. Gumiho, known to do that from time to time with varying levels of success in this matchup.
Oh yeah, he has mech'd it up against Protoss, and again, it has worked in the past. And I'm sure it will work again in the future. For now, it's going to be a double gas opener into a 1-1-1. We have a delayed CC out of Gumiho, so a much more aggressive start from our Korean Terran player. And we'll see what this leads into. For now, it looks like we're headed towards a Widowmine drop opener. Or at least maybe even a kitchen sink.
Yeah. I don't know which one I like to see more, but as one of the few people who stubbornly cling onto Widowmine drops in every single TVP, and it's probably why I don't win them. I like seeing players much better than I am do it and succeed. Gives me hope. Gives me an excuse, or not excuse, a reason to keep doing it.
You're coping, man. You're coping. Oh god, yeah, that's the hard thing about not like always playing, right? Is that the meta does shift, and sometimes your builds, you know, they become a little bit outdated, and you have to learn new ones. It's like, no, like I've been doing this for years. Like, you think I'm gonna learn something new now?
Yeah. Everybody knows that the builds peaked when I discovered them. You know. Everybody knows that TVP openings attained perfection with the Widowmine drop. Why would we try to do anything different?
Yeah, why?
It doesn't make any sense.
It's fine. As the Mind Drop does come in, 2 probes going down to the natural. Mind Drop here in the main base as well, and we do get a 3rd probe.
Yeah, we get a 3rd probe, we get a little bit of scouting done. This was a pretty smart move from Gumiho, but unfortunately not going to work out for him. Dash is wise to the fact that he waddled his 3rd Widowmine over to the ramp.
Yeah, did waddle on over. We do get 3 probe kills. That's an okay. We got a Stalker as well. You know, not the worst trade for Gumiho. Does confirm the tech of choice. We can see it's going to be 3-gate blink out of dash. So we're going to have an abundance of Stalkers to work with. And we are moving out across map. But another Stalker goes down.
Gumiho being very annoying here with these initial Widow Mines. Thankfully, he has stopped producing them. So, especially in the tech production, so he's going to be a little bit safer against these Stalkers. But yeah, so far these initial 4 Widow Mines have been getting some value.
Yeah, not too bad. Meanwhile, drop into the main, going for some workers, but last we have a shield battery, so we're not going to get any extra damage done. Gumiho is going to be cleaned up here in the main base, but at least the medevac does escape. And back at home, as you mentioned, we already have a solid tank count. Dash doesn't really have a threatening enough Stalker force to really, you know, threaten the main or threaten the natural, and Gumiho is even moving out.
Yeah, not something you typically see from Terran players in this situation. Usually after the initial mine drop, they're more one to kind of hang back, deal with the blink counterattack, and then push out. But not Gumiho. He got Stim a little bit earlier, and he really wants to make use of it.
Yeah, Stim is now done. We're going straight for the third base. So we will force a cancel, but we want even more than that. We could even just bust into the natural at the same time. Dash out of position. Now we realize what's going on. He's racing back home, but it's too late.
Third is going to get cancelled. Second, medevac going to be rocking out with a third tank and a couple more SCVs, no, Marines as well. That's usually where my mind goes when I think of Terran pushes against Protoss. I want the boys, but yeah.
We want the boys. I mean, we could use them here. The first Colossus is going to pop out just in time. We knock down the shield battery. No overcharge going to be available here at the natural. And the tanks are slowly encroaching upon that natural base. Dash is contained. And Gumiho is expanding back at home. Is throwing down the third TC.
Just like so. Interesting way that Gumiho's kind of swapped his add-ons around. Because he now has a reactor on that factory.
Yeah, he's done with tank production, getting into what looks to be potentially even Widowmine production. Meanwhile, we depower the robot. We're getting within range of the robot. It's under fire.
And it is going to go down. It's the only Colossus that Dash has to work with from here on out. And it's going to be even trickier now that these Marauders have rocked up and are going to be able to soak some of that splash damage.
Yeah, exactly. As now we take down the gateway as well. It's just a slow push here from Gumiho. Dash did sneak out a probe, is sneaking out a base, which is great and all, but the production is what's in trouble right now. We're throwing down a robo, we're throwing down more gateways in the main base. But alas, we only have Stalkers to work with, and Zealots. Slow lots.
Yeah, which funnily enough, not too good against tanks and Marines.
Also, my mistake, a charge is done, so we're going to be able to collapse on top of the Sorry about this. There's just barely anything to work with. They'll stay coming from behind, but we have reinforcements as well. We're going to shut down the Zealots, and again, Gumiho is just pulling Dash apart.
A valiant attempt at the sandwich, but unfortunately the bread was too thin for the Terran meat. GG is called, and Gumiho going to be taking that series 2-0. Going to be advancing to face Shin.
GG, well played. Gumiho will take the series, and shout out to Dash. You know, he, again, has been quite an active player in these online weekly tournaments. We haven't been able to cast him too often, but again, whenever we have a chance to, we try to get a glimpse of Dash. Is a near and dear friend to the channel, and does fall to Gumiho, but no shame in that. Again, you know, Gumiho is a world-class player, is maybe even one of the favorites to make a deep run and take the tournament.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the bracket right now. It's going to be a pretty tough road ahead of him. Obviously, he has Shin to face off against in the quarterfinals, and in the semis, he's going to be facing either Bjorn or Classic. Those are all matches that can really go either way, and I think in at least 2 out of those 3 matchups, his opponents are going to be favored against him. But definitely possible. I don't think anybody would be too surprised if we see Gumiho in the finals.
Yeah, we'll see if he can make it there. As you mentioned, he does have quite a beast ahead of him. Shin has been patiently waiting for his next opponent, and up next is going to be a quarterfinals match between Shin and Gumiho.
Here we go, round of 8. I'm getting ready for it.
Yeah, it is going to be that round of 8 match. Meanwhile, we don't quite have too many other updates on the brackets. Or do we?
Do we? Yeah, a couple of them. Yeah, quite a few of them. So we have Clem taking out Fork 2-0. Going to be facing Creator in those upper quarterfinals. And here we go. The two matches that we were wondering about. Estrella has taken out Silky 2-0. He will advance to face Oliveira, who took out Rex 2-0.
Ooh, yeah, that's going to be a spicy one. Estrella versus Oliveira currently is ongoing. Again, I'm sure it's going to be an amazing TVP. Wish the best of luck to both players when it goes up against either Clem or Creator in the upper semifinals. So we have back-to-back TVPs going on in the upper half of the bracket. Meanwhile, we are focusing on the lower half. We have Classic versus Beyond, I believe, being covered by Wardy, and we have our series, Shin versus Gumiho.
Indeed, we do. There is a very real possibility for now that we have that we get into the semifinals and we have nothing but TVT from here on out. I'm living for that.
I know.
I'm living for that.
It's possible. It's possible, mate. I was smudging earlier. I was talking about how like I would love to cast some Zerg players today because for the past week we've been covering nothing but Protoss.
PvP,
We had a lot of PvP in WTL. We had nothing but PvP in Tuna Cup. We had PvP in KSL, in Kung Fu Cup as well. It's been a lot of PvPs, and we might have to trade it for some TVTs tonight. It's possible. It's possible.
Here we go. You love to see it.
Funada Dark has been absent. I'm curious if maybe because Dark has been missing from a lot of these tournaments for the past week and a half. So I'm curious if that has anything to do with EWC, or maybe he's just being a dad and looking after his daughter. It's possible.
Yeah, those are all possibilities. We have been getting a couple of, let's call them updates, shall we, from the Talon Esports social medias.
Oh, true.
We have been told to. We recently have been told that we need to watch over Dark every now and then.
Yeah, I think we were told something else as well, but we just don't know what was being said. True. For those that are curious, Talon Esports, the team of Dark, they've been active on social media and they posted a video, and I guess they're in Korea or maybe Dark's in Singapore. Talon Esports, sorry, is that a Singaporean team or is it a Taiwanese team?
No, you're thinking of the other team that, picked up.
Blacklist?
No, Blacklist is a Filipino team.
Yeah, Filipino.
They're Bleed. You're thinking of Bleed, the team that picked up Nightmare.
That's it. Okay.
Talon is a French team.
Oh, okay.
I think. Wait, let me double check that real quick. Because Vitality is a French team.
Yeah, that's the French team. That's from Hong Kong. That's it, not Taiwan.
There we go. The other city in that Taiwan Hong Kong region. Yeah. The other half.
I was close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, France, Hong Kong, Singapore. We're all the same.
It's
the
all,
end of the day.
It's all in the same area. It's all
Philippines.
It's all on the planet. It's all on Earth. Yeah.
Pretty close by.
In the grand schemes of the universe.
Doesn't take that long.
Yeah. Exactly. Good day.
Yeah. We all have red on the flag and white on the flag. Some of us also have blue. As we now kick off our second TVZ of the evening, having one is a treat, but you're telling me we have two in the same bracket? Dude, I hope we haven't used up all our luck this week. As we spawn to Dynasty, who are here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left. We of course have our blue Terran player coming out from the land of Korea. He is of course going to be representing Cloud9. He's high. We have Gumiho.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have someone going for the gold base, rushing into the gold early on because we are in Dynasty and we have to spice things up. Representing Diamond Gladiators, it is a Shin.
Diamond Gladiators, that's the other team that from the name, I assume they were Taiwanese or Chinese or something, but turns out they're Canadian.
There you go.
So, Canadian or Los Angelesian. One of those two.
So
In my head, they're right next to each other.
yeah, it's the same place. It's the same place. It's the same thing. It's all NA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How big can it be? You know.
It's tiny. It's just
How big can it be?
yeah.
Doesn't take that long. To go from one place to the other.
As we do see Gumiho opening up 2x Reaper, so going for a bit of a Beyond opener is going to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more assertive, and with Shin going for the gold, it is not going to be the easiest thing to defend both locations at once. Shin, he scouts the opener with the Overlord, and his response is to throw down the Spine Crawler at the gold.
Yeah, this is, funnily enough, the safer option compared to taking your gold base behind the wall. You just need that additional room to reinforce and actually get on top of some of these range units that will be chipping away at your mineral lines.
Yeah, as the first Reaper does go down. Now, usually if you rush into this gold base, it's for a Roach all in, and there it is, Roach Warren's on the way. Checking the vision of Gumiho, he did get eyes on the building structure, so Gumiho is aware of the Roaches, and we'll see how he responds. If this was beyond...
The wall's on the wall!
The wall is not a wall, Links, they slip in. Gumiho slipping up a little bit there.
I think that was I'm not sure what it's called, but I think that was a little hint when you said, if this was beyond, yes, that wall would be a wall.
There we go. We have to throw down the bunkers on the other side to protect the add-ons, of course. We need a Marauder production as soon as possible as well. Otherwise, without them, how do we deal with those Roaches, especially considering the Gumiho did go for a 3cc follower?
Yeah, very economic. He's putting himself behind by quite a bit. You look at the army supply difference right now, and it tells you pretty much the whole story.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough defense here for Gumiho. We have to pre-pull the boys as well. Only one bunker is also quite risky here for Gumiho as well, as here comes the Roach Ravager. Ideally, we would want 2 bunkers and like 6 SCVs to repair, or even like 4 to 5 SCVs to repair. Just the lone bunker is going to be a tight hold. We'll see if Shin can break this. For now, only 2 Ravagers, thankfully. Not too much to work with.
Yeah, this one Marauder has a lot of work to do. Now we have a couple more Marines getting thrown into the mix. We have these SCVs on standby to repair the bunker. But of course, repairs, they ain't free.
Gonna be able to keep it topped up at the same time. Shin is still not getting eyes on the expansion on the gold base, still just chipping away at the main army. Shin is droning up behind this, is saturating his bases.
Yeah, so it's kind of an all-in, but not really. It would have been an all-in if there was an opening here for Shin to go all the way into the base, but yeah, for now, he's content with just containing Gumiho on these 3 bases.
Yeah, again, he's just forcing some more repairs. Meanwhile, the Reapers are coming from behind. We're collapsing on top of these Corruptors. Top of these Ravagers.
And the ground corruptors, if you will. A lot of them starting to go down. And that was not a good trade at all for Shin.
Yeah, exactly. A very nice move here from Gumiho, coming in from behind, trading out with some Ravagers. Looking at the units lost here, Marines for Ravagers. The gas trade has been so efficient here for Gumiho, and he holds well.
Yeah, and he also, on top of all of that, has his gold base earlier on. We were worried for Gumiho. We thought that he was going a little bit too economic, neglecting his army, his defenses a little bit too much, but I guess not. Gumiho, he just knew. He knew how to defend with the bare minimum, and now he's going to be running away with his economy.
Yeah, at the same time, Reapers are diving to the main. We get 4 drone kills already. We got a full scout as well, confirming that there is no upgrade on the way, confirming that the lair is not quite done. We're going for the lair at the gold base location, but alas, still not quite complete. And Shin, it looks like he is focusing on droning up and trying to get into the mid game, which will favor Gumiho.
Yeah, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on that worker count here for Shin, as 45, it's not bad, but we have seen it multiple times in the past. Zerg players stop droning at 45 and instead just focus entirely on getting ready for round 2 of their Roach push.
Yeah, as Gumiho is just securing himself. Likewise, Shin, knocking down those rocks, is investing quite heavily here into this Roach Ravager, and my eyes are on Shin because we have droned up to 47. We have not made a worker in quite some time. We're doubling down on Roach production, and Shin may indeed be going for an all-in.
Yep, that's 11 Roaches currently in production. We're stopping at 47, which is a luckier number than 45, so... Yeah. That's the extent of my analysis.
There you go. We'll see how lucky it's going to be. We dive on top of the roaches. 2 roaches going down. Not a bad pick off here, but a bit of mispathing out of Gumi here. Bleeds out a lot of Marines.
Bleeds out a lot of Marines. Bleeds out a couple of Marauders. There are no medevacs with this army. So this was a little bit of a gamble for Gumiho coming across a map like this, but unfortunately he didn't quite win. Wasn't quite able to make it worth it. Thankfully, he won't be going home empty-handed as he was able to conserve most of his army, and now we have medevacs to help sustain. But look at how overstim a lot of these units are.
Yeah, the bunker goes down. We're getting on top of the main army, and the upgrades are exposed. Combat shields, it's going to be denied just barely in time.
And now the roaches are knocking down the door. Barracks is starting to go down. The wall, well, I guess it was never a wall to begin with, but it's even less of a wall now. Thankfully for Gumiho, we do have this tank in the high ground. And we don't actually have vision on it, so no vials available here. Oh, now we do.
Oh, yeah, the Overseer comes in from behind. We knock down that tank, and there's almost nothing left here at the natural again. Shin just doubling down on that all-in. Now is droning up, but the damage has been done. The vials, ooh, they connect. They rain down on the SCVs. GG gets called, and Shin takes the first game.
Nicely done here. Yeah, GG. It was really impressive, I think, for Gumiho to have defended against the initial wave of roaches, especially with just how economic he's been opening up. But unfortunately for Gumiho, Shin was not done after that. Gumiho, he thought he was safe. He thought that since he deflected the initial rush, there's no way he would go for a follow-up all-in. He thought wrong.
Yeah, Shin, he just went for a later timing instead. As a reminder, cutting workers at 47, just doubling down on purely Roach Ravager. It wasn't just that, it was also him catching the army out on the map as well. So Gumiho, he bled out a lot of Marines and Marauders as the all-in was coming. And of course, he just wasn't ready for it back at home. Only 1 tank to defend and no Banshee production either. Like, we just had very little to work with. And Gumiho caught with his pants down.
Yeah, caught with his pants down. Which, you know, is appropriate for the stream, but not really what you want if you want to win.
Not ideally as
Oh, can I get in? Can I streaming data? Entering lobby? We're in.
Yeah, we have our lobby. We're jumping into our game and just letting our lovely casters know where we are in this series. So getting ready for game number 2.
Indeed, we are. It looks like Beyond versus Classic that did wrap up. Beyond taking out Classic 2-0. Ooh, okay. Classic on a little bit of a roll, but Beyond coming in and taking him down right when he extinguishing his flame, right when he's starting to get pretty hot. So, yeah, really good results here for Beyond, and puts us one step closer to an all-TBT semifinals.
We're getting there, but we need Gumiho to take the series for that to happen, and I'm hoping that we can at least have an ace match. I'm hoping we can get to game 3.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that. Here we go now, continuing our series on Site Delta, where we're here in the bottom right-hand quadrant, spawning all the way in the bottom right. We, of course, have our blue Terran player coming down from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing his team Cloud9. We have Gumiho.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Gaimin Gladiators. It is Shin. Going for a 15-15.
Okay. So we'll see if this is purely for safety, or if he is going to commit to playing aggressive against Gumiho.
Yeah,
so the game. Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm not sure how much you can really glean from game number 1 if you're Shin, because of how Gumiho is playing. Since obviously that is Dynasty, it's a little bit more of a unique map. It is a map that allows players to open up a bit more economic and still be safe like that. But yeah, we'll see if things are going to be different here for Shin.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good read out of Shin. So basically, 15-15s are really safe openers. They allow you to get a faster queen, they allow you to get faster lings, and they're ideal against something more aggressive like a 2x Reaper. Meanwhile, 2x Reaper, after what happened in Game 1, are also a lot more common here on side Delta because of the ramp coming into the natural, so you're that much more secure here with this setup. Likewise, because of the spawn location, this time Gumiho's add-ons are going to be safer as well. So he assumes that Gumiho is going to go for 2x Reaper, and he assumes correctly.
Yeah. It's an educated assumption.
Uh-huh, yeah. There you go. True.
Yeah. He's using his brain. I can't believe it.
I mean, Shin has the biggest brain in Korea.
That is true. Is it possible to unlock this? How?
No.
Oh. I thought you were going to be like, not for a Terran player.
Oh my god. Calm down, yeah. Calm down. As Reaper does get across the map, we're going to force out a Spore Crawler and a Gas Geyser as well, but the Queen does rock up and we will defend our middle line. We will deflect the initial Reaper.
Yeah, not too much that Gumiho can really confirm from this. I mean, he can kind of infer from the timings and the drone count that Shin went for a hatch first at the very least, but yeah, not too much to figure out from here on out.
Yes, Gumiho does poke the front door here, but doesn't quite find a way in. Likewise, Lings are in position over towards the north, and the Reapers will not quite... Oh, they just actually try to force their way in.
Yeah, they managed to squeeze through those little gaps of the Lings. I believe Gumiho was able to get eyes on that spawning pool.
It looks like he will now, as he gets behind the mineral line. Does confirm that the gas has been spent on Ling's speed. At the same time, Lings, they try to catch the Reapers, but Gumiho does slip out.
Like so, I believe he also confirms that Shin pulled out a gas. So he should be feeling pretty safe as we get into our mid game.
Yeah, really important, especially because 15-15s is not uncommon to rush into roaches with this build. So, as you said, Gumiho now knows he's safe and sound. He shuts down the Overlord. It will fall, and behind this, Gumiho is going to be embracing a 3cc 2-1-1 as that starport is on the way, and we're already moving out with our Marines.
Like so. And there's actually quite a bit that you can try to get done here with stimulus Marines like this. All depends on your positioning.
Yeah, it's important that you just pointed that out, because I just assumed that Stim was on the way. We skipped the add-ons.
We did. We skipped the add-ons despite this being the absolute perfect position to get him.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, it allows us to get another Overlord, which is nice with this Marine move out, but this does mean that the eventual medevac drop timing is going to be a little bit less impactful here, as we're not going to have Stim or combat shields or anything. They're going to be vanilla Marines. We're going for an armory.
Oh boy. We're gonna get Hellbats. We're gonna get Hellbats and Marines? Because Gumiho's still making them.
Yeah, it's gonna be a vanilla Marine Hellbat push, which is an interesting way to go about it. Followed up with potentially Banshee play as well. So it's a very chaotic build overall, but Gumiho is moving out, and this is gonna hit quite hard. And if the queen count is not high enough, we can break in.
We absolutely could. We are starting to get a couple of roaches out now, which is absolutely going to be ideal here for Shin to defend against the Hellbats. I mean, typically, when we do see a Hellbat push, it's with Marauders. So in this case, I think the roach defense is going to be that much more impactful, but this is a huge supply block that Shin is going to have to deal with.
Yeah, Queen is going to be going down. We have a transfuse, but it gets spent, and we have limited transfuse behind that. More Lings are on the way. We shut down every single Hellbat, and it looks like, can we barely hold on? We focus on the medevac.
And these Marines are ripe for the picking.
Yeah, if they were Stim Marines, maybe a different story, but they're vanilla Marines. They're going to be cleaned up. They take down another Overlord. Once again, being a nuisance here to Shin, has to make another to replace it, but Shin does hold, and Shin does not lose any drones.
Yeah. That he does not. Looking at the units lost tab, Shin only traded Lings, Roaches, and fewer Queens than I thought. 3 Queens going down, still not great, but for some reason I thought that was a lot more damage being dealt.
Yeah, so only 3 Queens were killed. We do have the Gumiho once again going for a hailing run by. Queens are in position, and we shouldn't lose too much here as we barely do Evo block. Ooh, As what Hellion does get into the middle line. Behind this, we have a Spire at the natural. Gumiho did just scan. He did confirm the Spire. I'm curious if the Spire is going to finish, though.
Yeah, it could be a fake out. Could cancel it and grab a Hydra then.
Yeah, I mean, especially because Shin knows that Gumiho saw it. That's the thing here. But we would otherwise see Evo Chambers for upgrades. Alas, the Spire looks like it is going to finish, and Shin, he's going to commit to at least a handful of mutas.
Huh. Alright, well, we'll see what he can get done with those. I mean, the element of surprise is already not something that he can rely on anymore, so he's going to be relying a lot on control. He's going to be relying a lot on just bunching those Mutalisks up together and taking as little damage as possible from missile turrets or Marines. I say missile turrets, but actually we don't have any. Gumiho.
Yeah, this is getting interesting. Like, so Gumiho's going to be harassing with the initial Banshee. The mutas are on the way, and we are making quite a good chunk of mutas. It's going to be 9 mutas in production. We're following this up with a +1 range upgrade, so it looks like Roach Ravager is going to be the answer for Shin, but at least initially going to be relying on these mutas and hopefully distracting and keeping Gumiho busy.
Huh. Alright, they're all bunched together. They are making their way across the map. Once again, no missile turrets set up here for Gumiho.
Yeah,
no Widow Mines either.
Okay, the Banshee does confirm. The Banshee does confirm. Now we have turrets on the way, but as you mentioned, Gumiho, he saw the Spire earlier. No reaction. Maybe he just assumed that it would have been cancelled, and as a result, he's getting caught with his pants down. He's not quite ready for this mute as they hit the main base, and the turret is not ready.
What have you done, Light? You're forcing Gumiho to play without pants, and yeah, this is a lot of... not that many SCVs going down, but still way more than really should have at this scenario. Thankfully, a couple of missile turrets did finish up at the third and at natural, but with good enough starter stepping here from Shin, he can still get some damage done. Banshee goes down, tank almost goes down. That was a very hot pickup from Gumiho by the end there, but still 8 SCVs. That's 8 more SCVs that went down that then should have went down, 9 even.
Yeah, it's 8 SCVs, or 9 SCVs, one Banshee, Hellion, Marine, all for 1 muta, so a very efficient trade here at a Shin. And throughout all of this, he's building up his Ling Roach Ravager army. He's getting ready to lay siege upon what Gumiho has left. Ideally, Shin also wants Gumiho to move out. For now, though, Gumiho is turtling back at him, he's trying to stabilize, but the mutas are not done.
No, they are not. They can tank a shot or two from these missile turrets. It's really the Marines that I have to be worried about right now.
It is the Marines as we do bleed off another one of those mutas, down to now 7 mutas. At the same time, Gumiho moving out, trying to catch them. Oh.
Not quite connecting, though.
Oh, he's trying to ferry them in, and he goes for the snip!
Yeah, fortunately, these are slippery mutas. One of them will go down.
Yeah.
But only one.
We get a muta.
Yeah.
And again, meanwhile, this entire time, Gumiho has not been able to move out. Finally moving out with a double drop, but back at home, Shin, he's maxed out. He's already got full saturation. He's building up Ling Bane Roach Ravager. Baneling speed is now done. Shin, he's ready for a fight.
And he's looking to get it, but he's looking for a fight ideally in the middle of the map. There is no way that Shin can really be able to push into Gumiho, but thankfully for Shin, Gumiho's now moving out. He gets eyes on the army. And now he can maneuver. Yeah,
Shin is getting ready. Now, these rocks are going to pose a bit of a problem. A lot of choke points are now created here by the map, and Shin has to be careful with how he engages. Rocks are being knocked down, and ideally, Shin, he wants to get a surround on this army.
Yeah, but we'll see if he's able to get it. Rest of the Mutalisks trying to see if they can get anything done. They will end up going down, but they've kind of served their purpose already. Shin would much rather trade them out to be able to get more Lings and Banes.
Yeah, and here we go. Gumiho now looking a little bit more exposed, is slowly pushing forward with those tanks, and I'm loving the spread here from Gumiho. But Shin, here we go. We're coming in for, we're trying to come in for that surround.
Yeah, trying to, but we're also very much so off of creep. A couple of really good Baneling connections. The Corrosive Biles will land, however, but it is not going to be enough here as the reinforcements for Gumiho do rock up. Oh, a couple of Biles will connect.
Otherwise, we
might be
connect.
just enough for Shin to defend.
Yeah, we do need more Ling Bane. Only one tank behind this. Ling Bane is the only thing keeping Shin alive. He's massing up as many Lings as possible. 19 Banelings are on the way. Biles, once again, they do connect. They almost take down a medevac.
Almost, but not quite. But even still, look at how little energy these medevacs have left. This bio army is very badly stimmed. Shin, once again, he just needs one good connection. He will be able to bile down the tank, and he will be able to chase this army back once again, taking 0 economic damage.
Yeah, Shin, he breaks out. May have lost the base, but he does break the army of Gumiho, and Gumiho was quite committed behind this, trying to get his 4 CC, but no saturation. Gumiho is still building up, and Shin is once again looking to knock down that front door.
Yeah, well, he even forces the shed, question mark, to be lifted up. And if we're using the front door as an analogy, that 4 faces a shed, in my eyes. Decent split coming out here from Gumiho, but not going to be enough to overcome the sheer numbers. Or is it?
The Medics are out of energy.
It's not.
The Medics are actually just fully out of energy at this point. They cannot sustain themselves. We have a tank sieging up. Once again, the pile is about to be ready, and we can just shut that tank down and head towards the natural. Oof.
Yeah, it takes eventually get a couple of volleys off, just enough volleys to chase back this Zerg army for now. But Shin, behind all of this, he was already thinking about the next step. That is chitinous plating, ultra armor getting researched on the way. 4 ultras are about to pop out, and I just don't see anything that Gumiho has right now that can really deal with them. Marauders, kind of, but Marauders can only really deal with ultras if, 1, you have room to kite, and 2, you manage to get a really good concave.
What's the name of ultra speed?
It's like cape something.
What?
Metabolic cape or something like that.
It is metabolic something. It is. Like, I didn't even know it. I think it's metabolic synthesis, maybe, but
synthesis.
Yeah, it's one of the ones that I can never remember.
I'll tell you, I've never metabolic that I never liked. So
there you go. But yeah, Shin is remaxed. Gumiho is trying to stabilize, and if given time, Gumiho will be able to max out. But now the pressure's on Shin. We should soon be moving out. Ideally, we're waiting for the upgrades, waiting for Kindness Plate to kick in, and then we can be active on the map once again.
Like so. Chitinous or chitness plating, depending on how you want to pronounce it.
You get some okay mine connections on some of the Banelings, but the main army is going to be forced back. At the same time, double drop towards the left-hand side is likewise cleaned up as well. Shin is all over this. Lings on the way as well, trying to pull Gumiho apart. Up.
Good Mines will get some really good connections on these Banelings, but the Banelings are the least of Gumiho's concerns right now. Shin now collapsing on top of this 4th base, planetary base. Oh! It's not metabolic.
It's not. But it was synthesis. Anabolic synthesis. There you go. There you go.
Who's that?
As we do turn back around, we got 20 SCV kills across the map. We land a fungal on the bio army, and without medevacs support, we shut down the first army. We have reinforcements on the way. Gumiho is holding his own.
Yeah, this very Marauder heavy army is ideal, or at the very least is better at dealing with Ultralists compared to Marine Tank, but it's still not the best. We can see Gumiho kiting as best he can, trying to target fire as best he can, but these Lings will pin down these Marauders and will allow a couple of volleys from the Roaches to take him out.
With that Gumiho, he's trying to hold on to the front lines. I mean, these are fresh medevacs, so now they're actually full of energy. Likewise, he's still sustaining himself. Shin fighting off of creep. These are not efficient trades from the Zerg player. He's actually bleeding out a lot of units.
Yeah, funnily enough, Shin really insisting on fighting here in the middle of the map, which is exactly what Gumiho wants. He's off creep. He's able to get his concaves up. But one good fungal is sometimes all it takes to wipe out an army. Gumiho still has a lot of army supply left over, but a lot of that is in these medevacs.
Yeah, that's a lot of medevacs here for Gumiho, and that is inflated supply as a result. Meanwhile, Link counterattack doesn't get much done. This is the main. The main was floated as the 5th base, and hey, we have saturation. Gumiho, he's barely sustaining himself, barely holding on, but Shin has now established that center base, and he can now focus once again on rebuilding and remaxing.
He's gonna try to anyway. We even have hit borrowed links to be extra annoying, force out a couple of scans that could be utilized in as mules instead.
Oh yeah. Oh! Oh my god. Yeah, some nice mind connections there from Gumiho as well, being a little bit cheeky across the map. Again, Gumiho does have the more efficient army, but unfortunately has no room to take into Ghosts. As a result, these Ultras are not the easiest to deal with. Gumiho does not have the ideal at the moment, still just working with Marine, Marauder, Widowmine.
Yeah, but you know what? You got enough Widow Mines. You can take out anything.
Huh?
Like a Zergling.
Okay. Yeah, you can. Link did go down. Meanwhile, Widowmine's a setup. We have a cheeky infestor does not to get the fungal off.
Borrowed at just the wrong time, right in front of all these Marauders. Once again, a much better trade here for Gumiho, but I'm not convinced he has enough to keep this going if he's gonna have enough steam left over.
Yeah, we get another fungal, but it might just be too late. We drag in a mine shot, but the Ultras are going down, the Ravagers are going down, and Gumiho is stimming in.
And these fungals at the end here are looking nice, but unfortunately for Shin, there just isn't any follow-up. Shin just spent his entire bank.
Yeah, Shin, the bank is gone at this point. Too many rough trades for Shin, too many bites off of creep as well. And Gumiho, it looks like he has brought it back. The power of the lifted main, he can barely hold on. Another fungal connects!
And the Marauders are trying to get on top of this. Widow Mines not quite getting their connections here.
Oh my god. Yeah, barely another fungal as well. It's still a very close fight, but Gumiho should barely have enough. I say that Banelings are rolling in.
Banelings are starting to roll in, but they're rolling off creep as well. We have a couple of more Marauders, Ultras coming out, but we don't have those Infestors anymore. We don't have those fungals that can really lock down this bio army and allow these Ultras to get on top of them.
Yeah, you can see the Ultras that just melt before these Marauders. Efficient pickoffs here by Gumiho, and it looks like Shin is running out of steam. He's running out of army. Gumiho has broken the back of Shin. The base is going to go down. Shin down to 1 base economy, running out of resources everywhere else. And Gumiho, he's brought it back.
Indeed, he has. He's up practically twice the supply, the army supply of Shin now. GG's called, and Gumiho gonna be taking out City Ace match. GG.
Yeah, GG. Well played, Gumiho. He does tie up the series. We are going to game number 3. Again, a very, very intense back and forth. Shin had a lot of momentum going his way, but was never able to really stabilize, was forced to take a lot of fights off of creep, and because of that, Gumiho was able to trade as efficiently as possible, and likewise was able to just barely maintain his economy as well. It was never ever like booming, but it was good enough.
Yeah. Good enough to continue sustaining that Marauder production, good enough to continue pumping out more and more and more medevacs. At one point, I think he had 1 medevac per Marauder in that game. But yeah, very tenacious of Gumiho. I really, really thought, I was ready to discount him. I was ready to say that, okay, Gumiho's dead. He traded poorly after the initial counterattack from Shin. And, you know, even though both players kind of traded an army for an army, Shin was getting ready for something a lot more high-tech. He was getting Ultralists, he was getting Infestors. There was no way Gumiho, with only Marauders, Marines, and tanks, would have been able to hold, right? Well, he proved us all wrong. Well, he proved me wrong, at the very least.
Yeah, he barely did hold on. He stuck in it, and GG, well played. With that, we will be embracing an ace match, and we're going to be loading into one of the more macro and standard maps. We're going to be loading into Akiane.
Yeah, indeed we are. And you know what that means, Light?
What does that mean?
We have confirmation on the other semifinals. There's still a chance that we get nothing but TVT.
Ah. Let's go.
Yeah, Clem versus Oliveira going down in the upper bracket.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of glossed over it, but Oliveira took down Estrella, Clem took down Creator. We have a Terran confirmed for the finals.
Yeah. Potentially 2.
Yeah.
As we conclude our best of 3 quarterfinals here on Alcione. Winner of this one map is going to move on to the semifinals to face Beyond in that other best of 3. But for now, we're going to have to figure out who it is. So we're here in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right. We, of course, have our blue Terra player coming down from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing his team, Cloud9. He's high. What we have.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Gaimin Gladiators. Being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? It is Shin. Go. And once again, Gumiho going for the Durax Reaper.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Gumiho lately, but seems like it.
Yeah, every game so far, in this series at least, every game so far has gone for it, and we'll see if we can get some more damage dealt. If you recall, we weren't able to get too much in the previous game, but this time Shin going for a standard hatch gas pool, and is going to be forced to be contained onto 2 bases a little bit longer.
Yeah, unfortunately for him.
At least that's
But
going to
we'll
be
see where this all leads up to.
It's going to be the hope for Gumiho.
Yeah, ideally. But we'll see where this all leads into. Shin himself has been playing rather aggressively in both game number 1 and I guess not so much in game number 2, but that was more because he figured that Gumiho himself was going to go for a little bit of a Turax Reaper, so yeah, played out a little more defensively until he was able to get those Mutas out. I completely forgot about the Mutas that game.
Like there was a lot of chaos going on, right? It was the Mutas that popped off, even though they got scattered like just as the Spire got thrown down. Like it was an early scatter to Gumiho and he just wasn't ready for it. It was crazy.
Yeah, he just refused to acknowledge it. He was like, I see the Spire being built, but you're not actually gonna use it.
Exactly. It's when you mind game yourself, and I don't blame Gumiho because I was expecting it too. I was waiting for the cancel on the Spire, and no, Shin was like, no, I'm just gonna make Muta, and he's just not gonna be ready, and it worked. It was crazy.
Yeah. The big brain. Funnily enough, the sign of having a big brain is knowing when to not use your brain.
Exactly. It's just the 4D chess. He's like, I'm gonna make Mutas because he's gonna think I'm not gonna make Mutas because he scattered so early, but really, I would just make the Mutas. And yeah.
I'm gonna make Mutas because he thinks I'm not gonna make Mutas because he saw my building that can allow me to make Mutas.
Exactly. It's crazy. The mind games. As Gumiho did invest into 5 Reapers, this is a big investment here for Gumiho. He did delay the third for a moment, did force it towards the left-hand side, but the third base is getting up and running, and Gumiho wasn't able to delay it for too much longer. Reapers are going to be dipping in, and Shin does have quite a lot of Lings out on the map.
Yeah, but they are on the map, though. Shouldn't be too difficult for Gumiho here to kite against them with his Reapers, throw around a couple of KD8 charges, and ideally not get himself surrounded. It's kind of finicky, funnily enough, with Lings. Sometimes you throw down the grenade, and then they get launched into the air and get a surround on you anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
or get an even better surround.
It can be quite risky. It can be risky. This time we can see that we're not headed into a Hellbat push. Remember, even last game it was a 2-on-1 without add-ons, like vanilla Hellbat push at the start of game 2. But this time we're rushing into the reactor, getting into stim. This time it's looking a little bit more standard out of Gumiho.
Yeah, we're getting stuff. KD8 charges are good, and the Lings are going to be deflected.
Yeah, Lings are deflected. Gumiho getting into a 3cc 3-1-1 setup. Sure, Stim is about to finish, but the starport was delayed. We did prioritize a third Rax instead, so that means that the move out is going to be a little bit later, but it's going to hit a little bit harder as we're going to have an abundance of Marines to work with. So we'll see if Shin can get ready for that. Back at home, just getting into a standard opener. We do have a safety Baneling Nest first. That means that we are delaying the lair here, so just really safe play out of Shin.
Yeah. Doesn't want to throw it all away here in the ace match. He is the one hope that we have to deny nothing but TVT from here on out.
Yeah, Shin is the non-Terran hope. So if you're a Protoss fan out there, if you want to avoid the non-TVTs, then Shin is the one to cheer for. Otherwise, we're ready to TVT it up.
Yeah.
Aye.
Tearing it up, as they say.
Exactly, we are getting ready for that. Third base now being named with Gumiho, the army is moving out. Interesting that, fun fact, he actually left his Marines out of range of the Zelnaga, so they have not been confirmed yet. Shin does not know how committed or how large the army is of Gumiho for the time being.
Chess is coming down again.
It is up.
Is he going to hurt himself in his confusion, or is it going to work out?
That's the question. As medevacs have arrived, now Gumiho can commit. Meanwhile, here on the high ground, we only have Ling Queen. Baneling's now on the way, and as long as we fight on creep, we should be okay.
Should being the operative word, as we still have these 5 Reapers. That's still quite a number of KD8 charges and quite a lot of crowd control potential. A lot of Banelings can be taken out before the fight can even begin. Nice zoning here with the grenades.
Yeah, so far good zoning. We can see Shin trying to collapse on this army, trying to go for the surround, and it looks like, can he get it? He does collapse in. The target firing.
Oh, the target firing, though, is absolutely beautiful here from Gumiho. And it looks like, yeah, the surround is not going to be enough without that Baneling support. A couple more Banelings going to be finished up in the back line, but now we don't have any more Lings.
Yeah, the Lings were cleaned up. The base is denied. A very successful attack here out of Gumiho. He doesn't kill Shin, but he does maim him, and as a result, Gumiho takes a massive supply lead.
That was absolutely beautiful. Coming out here from Gumiho. I wish I had that precise control. You know, I look at that and I think, oh man.
You look at that, you're going to try that next ladder session and the Baneling's going to connect and you're going to lose everything. Yeah. We've all been there. We've all been there. Baneling speed is about to finish up, so this is going to be a bit of an easier defense out of Shin, but the spread is going to be good. We have a tank behind this as well. Gumiho has momentum, a lot of momentum on his side. Oh.
And a tank. Can it get a couple of good volleys off on top of the Banelings? The kiting is good. We do have one Baneling connection though, and that is going to be good enough to force Gumiho to pick up and evacuate.
As Shin barely holds on, we can now establish a 4th base. Behind this, Gumiho is already on 3cc. 4th CC is in production as well at the 3rd base location, and the main push did fail for Gumiho, but now he's going for some split drop play instead.
Yeah, it was one of those things that you said, right? Gumiho initially there kind of chose suppress his advantage, but at that point he could do anything and still have the advantage. Wasn't quite able to keep up the momentum in the end. Did get deflected by Shin, but he's still very far ahead.
Oh yeah, map control is in favor of Gumiho. The creep is looking decent in the center of the map, but it's going to be on Gumiho to deny as much creep as possible to clean everything up and get ready for the second wave. Meanwhile, Shin, trying to stabilize, getting his 4th base back up and running, is playing catch up in the economy.
They're going to have to try to at any rate. Insert a drone up. He's got himself on 70 workers, which is not bad. But, of course, in order to get here, he did have to sacrifice a little bit of larva, sacrifice some of the larva that he would have much preferred go into his main army.
Yeah, at this point, Shin should be up to 80 workers and on 5 bases, but he's down a base, he's down in workers. Gumiho has a comparable, if not better, economy at the moment, and now we're pushing right through the middle. Creep has been respread somewhat, but still not ideal, and Gumiho is making his way towards that base once again.
Like so. Yeah, unfortunately for Gumiho, he hasn't quite scouted that southern base. Just a little bit more vulnerable, but either way, Gumiho's looking for a... not necessarily a game-ending fight, but a fight that will lead to the game-ending fight, if that makes sense. Yeah, he's looking for high value. He's looking for at least one base.
He is. We do see Shin trying to catch reinforcements and setting up for a surround as well. Meanwhile, the creep is receding. Shin trying to set up his own surround as well. I mean, I say surround. The rocks had not been shut down, and we do bleed out a queen.
Poor queen. Just wanted to shoot the tank. Tank shot back.
Yeah, did just want to shoot it. Lings, they do force a lift, or at least they're hoping to force a lift on this CC.
Like so. Bio gonna be coming back home though to make sure that the CC can't land, can turn into a planetary.
Yeah, and this is not gonna be an easy hold for Shin. Again, the rocks have not been thrown down, have not been knocked down, so we cannot actually surround the army. Ling Bane can only come in from one angle here.
And that's absolutely ideal right now for Gumiho. He's playing this out very patiently. Outside of this third base location, my frames have just dropped massively. But here comes the full surround, or the attempt at full surround.
Yeah, we flanked the main army. We shut down the tanks. The reinforcements were they were just too little too late. We did need them a little bit earlier, and now we can actually break down the army.
Like so. Widowmines not quite getting the connections that they needed to get. Terran Army will discover this fifth base finally, and Gumiho will take it out.
Yeah, the base will fall, and we're gonna try to pick up and drop into the main. Hydras, yeah, they will zone away the army. They force back those Metamax behind this. Shin is on 4 bases, and so is Gumiho.
Like so. Yeah, once again, not a terrible result, not a terrible trade here for Gumiho, but whatever advantage that he had earlier on is, I wouldn't say gone, but significantly diminished.
Yeah, Gumiho still has momentum on his side. Even though Shin has 85 workers, he's long distance mining. He also doesn't have the Hive. Hive is just now on the way. So Gumiho still has a supply lead. He still has the army in his favor, and he's still pushing out. Can, of course, clear up all this creep. And he's just minimizing any kind of map control that Shin has.
Yeah, the creep at this point has receded greatly. It was never fantastic to begin with. I mean, Gumiho was just doing a really good job of clearing up creep here and there, but yeah, there barely is any creep outside of bases at this point.
Yeah, exactly. As Gumiho is going for a bit of a tri-pronged attack, he has the center of the map, at the same time pushing towards the Hive! The Hive is going to be targeted! Oh!
This is, yeah, such a risky maneuver for Shin to have gone for a Hive in that location, and it did not pay off for him. Gumiho takes it out and practically resets Shin's tech. Now he has to make a lair and then a Hive behind that. Lurker Den is about to finish up, but he's going to have only vanilla lurkers to work with.
Yeah, lair tech lurkers here for Shin. Aye. That was a massive snipe, and Shin is down to 3 bases, is reestablishing on the right-hand side. His economy is looking okay, but Gumiho is going to be able to outscale his opponent. 3-3 is on the horizon for Gumiho, and 3-3 is going to be heavily delayed for the Zerg.
That's an effect upgrade. That it is.
Yeah.
Oh. You don't see it too often.
Meanwhile, the Ling Bane does collapse on top of the tanks. Tank's going to be going down, but the spread of bio is looking that much better here. We force back the army, getting into the mineral line, getting into the gold base. But here come the lurkers.
And a wheelbarrow right on top of this Terran bio army. There's enough of a buffer to keep them alive, and they are getting plenty of volleys off. Gumiho fighting in choke point, which is exactly what Shin wants with his lurkers, but the reinforcements keep on coming, and the Marauders will take them out. A lot of army had to be sacrificed, a lot of Terran had to be sacrificed, but Shin has lost his backbone.
That was worth it, as we do rally into the main army, but he killed so many lurkers. That was 7 lurkers going down, and again, there were lair tech lurkers, so Gumiho took a bold decision there to fight within their range, and did target them all down. More lurkers have arrived. Shin is barely trying to hold on. Just
barely. Hive now on the way. No, that's Queen! Body blocked by his own banelings.
By her own babies. They just locked her down, and yeah, Gumiho was able to just shut that Queen down. We are building up that lurker count up to 5 lurkers, but again, we still don't have the Hive. They still do not have, they're still lacking range, and we can focus them down.
Yeah, they're lacking range, they're lacking mobility, they're lacking. Tanks massively outrange vanilla lurkers.
They really do. Now we're down to 2 lurkers, 7 more lurkers on the way. The base is gonna fall, and Shin is just up against the wall. He can barely hold on, losing hatchery after hatchery. And Gumiho, he's still maxed out. He still doesn't move in that supply.
And now he has Liberators.
Uh-huh.
Freedom has arrived.
Yeah, we have no Vipers because we have no Hive. The Hive is just now finishing finally, but it's too little too late at this point. Link counter-attack will deny the goal base, so some damage is being done. We do distract Gumiho for a moment, but Shin needs a lot of time.
And time just isn't on his side right now. Time is fighting in another match.
He's on the other half of the bracket.
Yeah.
Now, we do get a nice surround. As the Gumiho's army is distracted, we do catch a good portion of it, so that was a nice trade out of Shin. But GG gets called. We don't even get the final fight, and Gumiho will take the series.
GG. Very well played here for Gumiho, delivering us the semis that were promised.
You know, Yaku, I was hearing you when early on when you're like, yo, ESL TVT Cup, and I was like, I mean, sure, maybe. I'm like, maybe, but I mean, Beyond has to be classic, Gumiho has to beat Shin, like, Oliver has to beat Australia. Like, what are the chances that all that happens? It's happening. For the first time, maybe in the history of ESL Asia, we've covered a lot of ESL Protoss Cups, right? We've covered so many just purely PvP semifinals in ESL Asia. It's usually dominated by Protoss, but now dominated by Terran instead.
Yeah, I'm glad I was here to witness this historic, event. As wow, we actually have another update on the map. We already have a finalist.
Mm-hmm.
Clem has taken out Oliveira 2-0, and he's going to be waiting for either Bjorn or Gumiho as his Terran opponent. We almost were able to cast 3 TVTs.
Almost.
But, yeah, instead it's going to be 2.
Yes, as Clem versus Oliveira is wrapped up. Scrolling down, we have Bjorn waiting for the winner of our series, so it's going to be Gumiho versus Bjorn into Clem. The TVTs are upon us.
Oh yeah,
maybe not as many not as many as Yaku would have liked, but we get them nonetheless.
Yeah. We're gonna have to strap ourselves in, but I guess not as tightly as we previously were worried about. Yeah, just a little bit of breathing room in the seatbelt, if you will.
There we go. So we are getting ready for that TVT for Bjorn versus Gumiho. This is going to be a spicy one. Gumiho is one of those TVT specialists. He's not as known for it as Ryung, but TVT is one of his strongest matchups. So even though players like Clem and Bjorn have that star factor and they have a lot of hype behind them, Gumiho likewise can bring it to both Clem and Bjorn as well. You know, it's not clear cut with how these matches are going to be going.
Yeah. It's funny, I feel like there will always be at least one TVT sniper in each era. For a very long time, it was Ryung, but then when Ryung was in the military, it felt like it traded hands a little bit. You know, Gumiho became kind of known for being a sniper in TVT, and then we had TY for a little bit, Innovation for a little while. And now it's up in the air again. Well, yeah. Not really, because I think Ryung is... but far and away, by far, well known for being the Tuna Knight, if you will. Just he is the one who TVTs, the Clem Crusher, as he's sometimes called. But
I can already
still up there.
I can already picture Ryung like he's out like getting dinner or something. He looks at his phone and he made the decision. You know what? Bracket, I'll take today off. I'll go and chill and get some food and hang out with the Hyungs. And he checks his phone. He sees the bracket. He's like, God damn it. he sees the pure TVT bracket. Is like, I could have won this week. God damn it.
It should have been me.
Fun fact, if you missed out on it, World Team League this weekend did feature a rematch between Clem and Ryung Ryung did 2-0 Clem yesterday.
He did. With a very With a side of Ryung, I feel like I haven't seen at all a very different style of TVT.
Yeah, exactly. Ryung doing the best Byan impression, going very marine heavy, which I 100% agree. It's just not a style that we see often from Ryung, so really interesting to see him kind of spread his wings in that direction and succeed with it.
Yeah, he used to be very much known for, I mean, he was the mech guy for a very long time. He is very much known for very slow and methodical tank play in TVT. But not last night.
Yeah. Crazy. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing that style at some point in this series as well, as we're jumping into Gumiho versus Byan. Gumiho has a very similar playstyle to Ryung previously, you know, this kind of like slower mech compositions as well. Gumiho is not afraid to mech it up in TVT. Likewise, Byan not afraid to marine it up in TVT instead and being very active on the map as well.
Yeah, definitely. Plus, we know that Byan, you know, there's a little bit of pride at play here, you know. I'm not sure if he was able to witness, but I would like to imagine that he sensed in his brain, or in his core, or somewhere within him, in his body, and in his spirit, and in his mind, he sensed that Gumiho went for a little bit of a 2-rax on the low ground, and didn't fully wall.
You're saying Gumiho.
So a little bit of pride going on there. Byan going to be coming in and saying, "Let me show you how it's done."
You're saying Byan, he's a little bit insulted. He's like, "How dare you represent my opener like this?" What's going on?
That's exactly what I'm saying. As we load into game number 1 of our best of 3 semifinals, where we're here in the top right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top right. We, of course, have our red Terran player coming out from the land of Korea. Also, going across the map with an SCV, he is, of course, going to be representing his brand new, well, I say brand new, he joined like a year ago, his team, Cloud9. He's high. He is Gumiho.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, getting proxy 2-rax, as it's not just one SCV, it's a second SCV as well. We have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Byan. Very quickly, if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as the aggression is on.
That is a double rax on the low ground, but not in Gumiho's base. Byan doesn't trust him whatsoever. He is going for a little bit of scout around his bases, and he will be able to confirm those 2 raxes.
Beautiful.
Right in front of me. How insulted do you think he feels right now?
So, Gumiho going for the 2-rax Reaper. Meanwhile, Byan does confirm he pulls a couple of boys to delay at least one of these raxes. Reaper production is going to be on the way, but it is going to be delayed here due to these SCVs of Byan.
Like so. Oof. One SCV already going down. And now things are getting very worrisome here for Gumiho.
Exactly, as we do delay the rax even further here, and as a result, Byan is going to be able to maintain production, even though he's down a rax. I mean, it's only 1v1. That second rax has not finished.
Yeah. He's kind of down a rax. He's down half a rax.
One more shot.
Which, in this case, you have to round down.
Oh my god, okay, it looks like the SCV will survive, will get away, but we force a cancel, and the plans of Gumiho are in shambles. He has to transition back at home, and Byan has defended the early game aggression.
Like so. And if you're Gumiho right now, where do we go from here? I mean, thankfully we are on post-U, so he can still expand, he can still get that hybrid base in his main natural, something like that. But even still, Byan is already going to beat him to the punch. He is much quicker in that regard. So,
look, I hear it in your voice, Yaku. I hear what you're holding back. You're like, oh, Gumiho, what can he do? Clearly, he has to pull the boys. Like,
I mean, he has no other choice. What else is there that can be done?
Yeah, like, clearly he's got to either pull the boys or just Gangnam tear it up, really. I mean, like, what's going on? That's a blast from the past. When was the last... I feel like it's been years since we last had a viable map where you could like, go for the Gangnam tear.
I want to say Eastwatch, which was 2018-ish.
Yeah.
No, I think that was one other map, not Redshift.
Did we see it in
there was
Golden Wall? Did we see it there? Maybe?
No, yeah, we saw it a couple of times at Golden Wall.
Yeah.
And of course, Golden Wall was in the map pool for like 2 years. But it kind of fell out of favor after that.
Yeah, like, it was never like a go-to, but I think I've seen it like maybe once or twice on Golden Wall.
I want to say TY did it. I could be wrong, but it just sounds like something TY would do.
Regardless,
one.
yeah, Bjarni defends back at home. He's getting into his 1-1-1. Natural base has been taken, and Gumiho is still working on that CC again. A lot of pressure is on Gumiho to try to bounce back, and he's following this up with what looks to be a Cyclone drop.
Yeah, that's definitely one way of getting back into this. I was going to say that's definitely one way of getting back into this when your opponent doesn't have much anti-air, but Bjorn himself did get a safety Cyclone that he's now looking to drop across the map, and he also has a Viking in production to deal with the medevac.
Does have a Viking. Meanwhile, I do apologize, did forget to actually open up the beddings just because of the proxy 2 racks. I was very distracted by the intensity of the game, but predictions are now open. I mean, by the time you hear this, they're already closed, so best of luck to those that did get their predictions in, as we do see Gumiho keeping up with the drop play of Bjorn and trying to hunt down that medevac. Does overshoot though.
Yeah, he just shot too far. He's out of the stadium.
Yeah, and that means we do drop into the main. Thankfully, we do have 2 more Cyclones in the main base. We are in position. We should be able to shut this down without losing too much. Oh!
Decent control coming up from Gumiho. Will be able to keep, at the very least, his core units alive, but he does still lose 4 SCVs, so he's even further behind than he was initially.
Yeah, that's 4 SCV kills. The Cyclone count looking quite healthy. Back at home, Bjorn going for a 3rd CC, building up towards the mid-game. My eyes are on Gumiho. I'm curious if he does ever start Stim or if he throws down a 2nd factory. Mech from behind would make sense if Gumiho was trying to recover. He was trying to catch back up. Oh!
But it's going to take a lot more than that, especially with that medevac going down.
The medevac is shut down. Gumiho getting his 3rd base on location. Bold move out of Gumiho. Bjorn is investing into Stim. Additional Raxes. He is playing Fire Tank. I mean, no surprise here out of Bjorn. Our eyes are still on Gumiho to see what he does follow up his production with.
And the answer is going to be...
Up!
Not here yet. That takes 2 siege up. Vikings will land and make short work of these Cyclones. Bjorn still heavily has the momentum.
Yeah, that was a massive siege. So many Cyclones. That was like what, 6 Cyclones going down. There's a tank on the high ground, but Bjorn is rotating over, and his goal here is to deny that expansion. The base isn't done.
So it is much easier to deny it.
Yeah, we force a cancel. Yeah, massive delay here on that expansion, and we have the answer. Factories on the way. It is going to be mech.
Alrighty then. It's going to be a little trickier when you are contained to 2 bases, but one of these bases is a hybrid, so yeah, maybe if there was ever anybody who would be able to get away with this, it would be Gumiho.
I believe.
And the granddaddy of mech, if you will.
As we do see Gumiho delaying the base for a moment, but alas, we have plenty of reinforcements back at home. Cyclones are being forced back. Gumiho is now aware he's down an expansion, and Gumiho has to play this out slow. He's going to slowly expand and break out and turtle up, and it's not going to be an easy road to travel here for Gumiho.
That it will not. Vikings to be floating around, zooming to the other side of the map. Viking drops, that's... Actually, landed Viking harass. That's something we haven't seen in a very long time.
I mean, it can work. We're not quite in position. They land, and SCV is going to get annihilated. Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, okay, here we go. SCV is coming in to fight this, which is not at all what you want to do against Vikings. Like you said, they do get annihilated.
Speaking of. Speaking of, we get the Viking drop also into the main base as well. We get 11 SCVs across the map, but 7 SCVs here in the main base of Gumiho as well. So in the end, not worth it here as we trade, or we have more of an even trade going on, and the Vikings have not been dealt with.
That they have not. A couple of Vikings of Gumiho going to be coming across or finishing production. They land and they lift, and they lift and they land. GG is called beyond. Maybe taking game number 1. That was one way to end it. I mean, I feel like we had a very intense, I wouldn't say back and forth necessarily, but definitely a very tense situation here after the early game, but then we just ended it real quick with those landed Vikings.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, GG, well played. A very chaotic TVT with the attempted and the failed proxy racks. Bjorn had a very, very solid start and never allowed Gumiho to actually get back into his game, get back into the swing of things. So very nicely done here. Bjorn in full control takes game 1. But a big reason for that was just because of the opener, was just because Gumiho was behind from the start of the game. We'll see if we can settle into a much more even back and forth.
Yeah, here on game number 2, which is going to be on Alcyone, so it's... I can't imagine that Gumiho is going to do the same thing twice in a row, regardless of what the map will be, but especially not in Alcyone. Oh, looks like we're having a little bit of issue coming down with our players.
We have some banter going on. Gumiho's like, how did you scout me? And Bjorn's like, I can smell your cheese.
Like, yeah. At descent. Bjorn like, you merely adopted the 2 racks.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in it. I birthed it. Even.
Can confirm. There we go. It looks like we are going to be settling in just a little bit of banter between Bjorn and Gumiho. Unfortunately, we don't quite have a translator, so not too certain what they were saying with each other.
Yeah. But we took a screenshot, so we can translate it at some point in the future. Man, the minute I finished that sentence of like Bjorn birthed the 2 racks, it threw me back. All the way back to 2016, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Now Bjorn, he birthed it, but Fuely, he perfected it.
that's a reference. I guarantee you, Aku, not a single person in the chat knows who the hell Fuely is.
Rip Fuely, Rip ANZ,
yeah,
whatever that tournament was. ANZ Weekly.
Yeah, ANZ Weekly, yeah. Those are the days. Much love to Fuely.
I stole that build from him directly. Anyway, we're going to be continuing our series now, our best of 3 semifinals on Alcyone, over here in the bottom left-hand corner map. Spawning here, over in the bottom left, we of course have our blue Terran player coming out from the land of Korea. He of course is going to be representing Cloud9. He is high. We have Gumiho.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. It is Bjorn. Checking for the proxy. This time, there is none. I like to believe they're talking about that.
Yeah, I like to believe that Gumiho was basically saying like, yeah, I couldn't be proxying you.
Regardless, we do see Bjorn opening up double gas.
If we have any, I was gonna say, if we have any Korean speakers in the chat, enlighten us.
Yes, translations would be greatly appreciated in the chat. If anyone is native to the Hangul, to the Korean language, let us know.
Yeah, or even if you're not,
just tell us and we'll have to believe you because we won't know any
confirm
better.
that I'm correct. Yeah, confirm that we are correct in our interpretation.
Yeah, context clues.
Yeah. If we're wrong, then don't say anything. Or even if we're wrong, just say that we're right.
There you go.
We may not speak Korean, but we speak body.
There you go.
Language, and we can tell.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Yeah. Asamamu. No, that's a different language entirely.
that's not Korean. Yeah, it's not Korean.
It sounds similar.
Yeah, sure, a little bit.
Yeah. Did I ever tell that story? I got mixed up when I went to visit my relatives, so I...
Did you say like hello in Indonesian or something?
No. The traditional greeting is Assalamualaikum. Is the traditional Muslim greeting. Somehow I got mixed up and I said Annyeonghaseyo instead when I visited my relatives. My Muslim relatives. Thankfully, my aunt is a huge like Korea boo, and she knew immediately what I was saying. She's like, "Yes, I feel ya."
She thinks like you're being cute or you're making a reference that you'd know that she'd understand. Hello, but
Yes.
really you just said the wrong thing. Lovely, beautiful, beautiful. As we are going to be settling into our TVT again, we did have Double Gas versus Double Gas. We do have Reaper Hellion and Beyond moving out across the map. Meanwhile, back at home, Gumio taking a more defensive stance with his Cyclones, but he's going to try to keep up and catch up with Beyond. We do get a Reaper across the map. Likewise, Beyond busting into the main. Oh.
Yeah, busting in, but we already had the surround of Marines. None of these Reapers are going to get any damage or scouting done, and these Hellions, without Reaper support, not quite going to be able to get much done.
Yeah, Hellions, they race back home to defend against that Reaper. We get 2 SCV kills so far, a better start for Gumiho. The Reaper is going to be cleaned up, and back at home, Gumiho is going for a very fast 3rd CC.
Yeah, which he can afford. He doesn't quite have map control, but there's really no easy way for Gumiho to really, or for Bjorn, sorry, to... Yeah, colors are messing me up. Gumiho used to be red in the previous game. But anyway, yeah, there's no easy way for Bjorn to really bust into Gumiho and really deny the start base that he's getting.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because how large the map is. So it does make a lot of sense to rush into a faster 3rd on Alcyone. On another smaller map, it could be a little bit risky. And I mean, there is still a little bit of risk involved, but for the time being, Bjorn has yet to move out. So just focusing on his earlier tank production. Medevac's on the way, and we will soon be going for an earlier push.
Yeah, which I can't say we're too surprised. Can't say I'm too surprised seeing out of Bjorn. 2 tanks, 8 Marines, 2 medevacs. These are vanilla? Yeah, vanilla Marines. So not quite going to be able to jump on top of things. Not quite going to be able to dip in and dip out like you normally would.
Yeah, instead
but
it's going
to have a...
Yeah, it's going to be
have a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's going to be a very committed tank drop here from Bjorn. He's going to try and sneak into the main base, and Gumiho does have a bit of a blind spot. I mean, he has vision with the depot, but his army and his Vikings are not quite in position, so we can boost in. And if Bjorn can siege up in the mineral line, that would be huge. Oh.
We can boost in, and instead we boost it away. But now here we go. The tank could be sieging up. Vikings forced to land. I'm liking that Bjorn only sieged up 1 tank, as it allowed him to juggle a little bit. That's a lot of SCVs going down. 15 SCVs going down, and absolutely, I would say worth it here for Bjorn.
Oh yeah, that was 1 tank, Marines, and 1 medevac for an entire mineral line worth of SCVs, and just like that, Bjorn does take a worker lead. His 3rd base is now going to be thrown down on location. Sure, Gumiho has a faster 3rd and has an orbital, but Bjorn did scout that, and it's going to be now on Bjorn to make sure that that 3rd base is not landed.
Yeah, once again, going to be setting up around here. Going to be consolidating his forces, getting his tank back in position.
Likewise, Gumiho moving out has that additional tank available to him, so he does have the tank lead, but his army is spotted. Bjorn, meanwhile, sieged up here in the center map, hoping to try to catch out the army.
And he kind of will. Gets a volley off on one of the tanks of Gumiho.
Yeah, the tank getting very low. Behind this, Gumiho is landing his 3rd base. Likewise, Bjorn's own 3rd is going to be getting up and running. And right now, it's on Gumiho to try to keep Bjorn busy and allow himself to actually get this 3rd base fully operational.
Like so. Yeah, Gumiho is still catching up a little bit when it comes to the worker count, but he's not too far behind. Especially with that lead, especially with the fact that he actually is able to produce out of his 3rd.
Yeah, Bjorn forced 1 siege, has to back off. A bit of an awkward position here for Bjorn. Does get a tank volley up, but with the help of these liberators, yeah, Gumiho is going to be able to bully this back.
Like so. This tank, it's running for its life.
Yeah, his racing back. 1 tank is going to be going down. We still have those 2 liberators. We have air control as well, and Gumiho, with his air control, he can flex these libs. We'll go for the siege.
I feel like it actually wasn't too bad there for Bjorn with that tank on the watchtower. Managed to get a volley off, kill a couple of units, but now Gumiho's dealt with it. He is going to be beating this back. He is breathing down Bjorn's neck.
Yeah, ooh, the flanking tanks did get some big volleys off, but the tanks are going down. There's one tank left here for Bjorn. We do snipe one of the Liberators. Bjorn is getting a couple of key pickoffs here and there, but Gumiho's main army is still gaining ground.
Yeah, taking off one of those Liberators is good. But he's down to only one tank, two tanks now. But here we go. The tanks just barely not sieged in time. Did allow Bjorn to get right on top of it and did allow him to come in with his Marines and take him out. Now the tank count of Gumiho has been reset.
Yeah.
And things are evening out.
Very impressive breakout there by Bjorn. It did cost him some SCVs, but honestly not too many. Only 4 SCVs went down. We cleaned up every single tank. We cleaned up the Liberators as well. And Bjorn, he survives. He gets away with his third base, and we are now moving out across the map. We have more of a back and forth here, but Gumiho did bleed out a lot of his tanks, as you did mention.
Yeah. And now Bjorn, he knows that the Viking count of Gumiho isn't as high as it once was, and all of the Vikings from earlier are also across the map, so a little bit of a blind spot here in the natural base. 5 SCVs go down. This tank is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the tank is under fire. We're going to be able to get the repairs of the tank. We'll survive. We get 8 SCV kills here at the natural. At the same time, Bjorn rallying across the map. Doesn't quite commit. There is a tank on the high ground, so that will defend the main. At the same time, Bjorn, he does slip in.
Yeah, going to be not able to take out any of these SCVs. I was confused too, yeah. These colors! Ah!
Hey, Gumiho jumping across the map will get some economic damage himself. He's not taking this lying down. The worker counts are looking very similar, very close to each other.
Very similar to each other. Both players also on even base count. Fourth base of Gumiho going to be a little bit faster, but not by that much. We're even.
Yeah. Our players, they bounce off each other. We're settling into our 4 base economies. There are some slight deviations here and there. Bjorn does have a slight upgrade lead, but the window here is not actually the largest, so Gumiho can eventually catch up. Likewise, just being active as active as we can. Both players going for drop play, both players trying to pick up whatever SCVs they can.
Yeah, going to be denying this gas geyser at the very least, so Bjorn going to be a little bit behind when it comes to producing tanks and Vikings and Liberators and whatnot. Anything other than Marines, really.
That will impact his overall gas income, but we're settling down. We're building up more Marines, getting into our eventual 4th base. Likewise, Gumiho still being a nuisance, but this time Bjorn is ready for it.
Yeah. He has a tank in position, sieged up over there. Got a tank over here.
Yeah, we're going to be having a bit of a lull here after a very intense game. I mean, there's been a lot of chaos, a lot of aggression from both players, but now we can calm things down, we can settle in, we can expand, and we can embrace a longer game.
Yeah, which is not I'm going to be honest, Light, I know that TBT is kind of known for it, but I wasn't expecting Bjorn and Gumiho to want to embrace the late game or the turtle TBT.
I mean, they didn't want to, but we're kind of getting there.
True, yeah. That is an important caveat that you mention it.
They were very much so in each other's faces. And speaking
important
of
distinction, yeah.
Bjorn is almost maxed out. That's a lot of Marines again to be expected. Looking at the units tab, Bjorn has 71 Marines compared to the 53 of Gumiho. So with this mass bio army, we'll see if he can break through. Gumiho has a tank lead instead. Tanks are sieged up, and Bjorn, he's committing in.
He is going to be fighting here in the low ground, where I was going to say there's not much tanks in range for Gumiho, but actually still are. Bjorn going to be busting through, going to be taking out the tanks in the lower side, kind of the right side of the front lines. Gumiho not quite able to reinforce this position. The 3rd base goes down, but Bjorn shouldn't be able to push in further from here, even still. Huge pick off of Bjorn.
Massive pick off Bjorn. He saw the opening. He just stemmed right up the ramp, went right for the base. The base goes down, and despite having a tank line, Gumiho was not quite in position to protect his expansion. With that, he is now down a CC, down in economy, and the goal here for Bjorn is to reinforce and to keep on pushing through. Alas, the siege line from Gumiho is now a little bit in a better position, so it's going to be difficult to break through this. We can always rotate around and try to knock down the planetary.
Yeah, we can try, but of course there's a sensor tower in range over there, so Bjorn instead going to try to go for double drop. These are some very weak medevacts, very low health, and we have Marines, we have missile turrets. Immediately, Bjorn forces turn around.
Yeah, Bjorn, he backs up, but reinforcements are on the way. Bjorn does at least preserve his army, does keep it up and running, and he is gaining ground. He's trying to get on top of these tanks.
Trying to, but not really finding an opening. Liberators here with the air superiority of Gumiho. Going to be able to chase us back. I say the air superiority of Gumiho. It's literally one Viking. But you know, that's more than 0, which is the amount that Bjorn has.
It's barely enough to hold on. But again, all that Gumiho has to do, all that Bjorn has to do is contain Gumiho. Contain him on 3 bases, that's all that needs to be done, as Bjorn is on 4, soon to be on 5 CCs back at home, as the 5th base is now done, soon to be landed on location. And yeah, Bjorn is just trying to starve Gumiho out. Meanwhile, Gumiho does catch a tank.
Is able to take that out. Bjorn trying to slip on in, trying to get this tank that's exposed. He will get it, and still have a couple of Marines left over to try to fight the Marine count of Gumiho. But he can't do that while there are still tanks in play. While there are still tanks from Gumiho in play.
Exactly, a solid pickoff. Meanwhile, that's a lot of tank volleys to the face of Bjorn. Bjorn bleeding out a lot of Marines. Bjorn attempting to take a 5th base, but alas, Gumiho is in position. He will delay, he will deny that expansion, and we're going into Sky Terran. We have a wall of starports on the way, and we're getting ready for those Vikings and for those Liberators.
110 of Bjorn's Marines have been taken out. This is this is not a good game to be a Marine, at least if you're on Bjorn's army.
That's the thing about Bjorn in TVT, is he goes mass Marine and he is more than happy to throw them away. Meanwhile, Bjorn is out of position and Gumiho is going for a massive move out.
A little bit of blind spot here. We'll be able to deny the 5th base of Bjorn. That's a kill.
This is going to be cool. At the same time, Bjorn committing in, trying to get on top of the tanks. There's no lot of support here for the tanks. Tanks are going down to Marines.
Yeah, some of them are, but unfortunately for Bjorn here, not a lot of room to really split and spread your Marines to avoid those tank splash damage.
Yeah, we had a secondary line of tanks behind it for Gumiho, so he barely does hold on.
We're now up to 155. Of Bjorn's Marines dying.
We're not done, Pappy. We're not done. We're
gonna get to 200. He's producing 15 of them at a time.
Yeah,
What's 150? You know, drop in the bucket here.
Oh no! If you're a Marine in the chat, look away, Pappy. Look away. As again, Bjorn is trying to brute force his way through. Gumiho, meanwhile, getting into Mass Liberator Raven. That can help out with the of course anti-arm missile alongside auto turrets, but we're catching more tanks.
Yeah, Marine Bomb going to be able to take out a couple of these tanks here and there. These are the absolute core unit of Gumiho right now. If he doesn't have them, I mean, I guess the Liberators are going to help, but they're not going to be as useful as all of these tanks.
Yeah, we get 3 tanks, we get the Liberator as well, and now Bjorn is rotating over towards that planetary. There's not much to defend. There's 1 tank. Liberators are coming in to reinforce, and they will help. They will force stims out of these Marines.
Yeah, we'll force a couple of unsiege or resieges even. Here and there. 176 Marines from Bjorn have gone down, by the way.
Yeah, Libs are sieging up. The army's forced back, and Gumiho, he stims in.
Yeah, we'll be trying to catch this while the tanks are on siege, but Bjorn, of course, still has a very sizable Marine army, despite losing 177 throughout the course of this game. He still perpetually has more Marines than Gumiho.
Yeah, that was a nice pickup by Gumiho. He did get 3 tanks there that were left sieged up, so not a bad pickup from Gumi. At the same time, finally, he gets a 4th base up and running. He was denied this base for so long, but it is now operational here. As Bjorn is going for a split push, takes down the gas guys, are reinforcing on the right-hand side. He's looking for another opening.
Yeah, and credit to Gumiho, he is closing as many of those openings as possible. He's not at all making it easy for Bjorn to find them.
Yeah, these Liberators are a real problem. I mean, they take down another tank, and now we have starports finishing up for Bjorn, so he's getting into Viking production. He's working in that direction. Mass Marine can only take you so far.
Oh, well, you say that.
Yeah.
We'll see if that ends up getting proven. Marines will be able to take out the 2 Liberators. Grants Bjorn a lot more freedom on this side of the map.
Yeah, Libs have gone down. Viking production has begun. Again, we're on triple starport production. Fusion cores on the way. That should be for... actually, it looks like BCs. We have tech labs.
Yeah, boy.
Okay.
Range? No. this is not the time.
Exactly. Meanwhile, we have a Doom Jockey on the left-hand side. We're going to be able to clean up some of these tanks, but again, Bjarni doesn't care as he frees up supply. Show us those battle cruisers.
Yeah, we're way past the point for lib range. BCs will not be produced because Bjarni is actually maxed out.
He's maxed out.
Or close to maxed out, so.
We're getting there.
He's going to get a couple of Ravens instead.
Yeah. Okay. We're not pulling a Maru. We're not rushing into BC production. It's going to be the medevac upgrade and Ravens instead. I had hope. I had faith. Meanwhile, drop play coming back in. Going to be distracting Gumio, keeping him busy.
Yeah, going to be ideally pulling attention away from his kind of fringe bases, which is exactly what Bjorn is going for. This one medevac is giving me anxiety. One medevac and...
It's going to take one turret shot. It's going to take one turret shot, but alas, no turrets. Okay.
Oh! Now we got a possibility. Gumiho, I didn't even realize that the reason why he had so few Liberators behind all of this was because he was focused himself on Raven production.
Yeah, TVT is all about Air Terran or Sky Terran versus Sky Terran towards that late game. Meanwhile, the Planetary is not done. We stim in and we will catch the base.
Yeah, forces are canceled, and I mean, that base is going to go down. Gumiho himself could be able to take out the gold base of Bjorn, so they're trading about 1-to-1 right now. But here comes the main fight, potentially, probably, honestly, the final fight of the game.
Yeah, he wants the Planetary. Do get some anti-armor missiles. They do go off the Planetary. It holds on for a moment, but it is going to be shut down by the tanks at the same time. Bjorn keeps going.
Yeah, he knows that was the massive bulk, the main bulk of Gumiho's forces right down his front door. So it's triple drop, getting a lot of value. Taking out 30 SCVs, going to be forcing a couple more cancels, ideally.
Yeah, but he's going to be cleaned up by the reinforcements. Looks like Gumiho, he will survive, he will defend. At the same time, his main army is still not gaining much more ground. We're still focusing on mass Raven production, likewise Vikings as well. And we're still keeping up with each other. Bjorn still has that base advantage. He has top left.
Like so, yeah. I mean, Gumiho does have the gold, so that makes up for things a little bit, but I'm not sure if that can really make up for being down 30 workers.
Yeah, I just realized Gumio is down to 31 SCVs. Like, his economy he's working on is very, very low, actually. So that can hurt him, but as a result, that does mean that Gumio has a very large army. He has a much larger army supply, a super max army essentially from Gumiho. So he can win a fight and ideally snowball from there.
Yeah, that's going to be the ideal scenario, but he is trickling in a couple of units here and there. Bjorn taking full advantage of that, and we'll be able to weaken the Gumiho before the fight begins. That orbital command will go down.
He is going to be going down. At the same time, we deny mining at the goal base. Nice tank position here for Bjorn. He's going to shell away at the Marines, and we just see the mass disables.
Yeah, it will allow Bjorn to clean up every single tank, and all of a sudden that army supply advantage that Gumiho had is now completely gone. In fact, Bjorn is the player with that larger army and still with the better economy.
We spoke about it, but Gumiho, he had one army to work with and he lost it, and Gumiho does not have the economy to sustain that, to replace his army. Gumiho is falling further and further behind, and Bjorn is snowballing out of control. He's still maxed out, and Gumiho is going to take him a long time to remax.
243 Marines have gone down for Bjorn.
There we go.
168 for Gumiho.
We broke 200.
We broke 200. This is, yeah, Mass Marine for the win.
I mean, at this point, we're now more into Vikings and Ravens. We have a solid air army now for Bjorn. He's gaining ground tanks, are slowly pushing forward. And Gumiho is up against the wall. He does have a decent Marine cannon himself, but he's pushing into tanks. Oh, the surround!
In the tank, and we have just enough Marines by the looks of things. No, not with the surround. I was going to say, Bjorn may have just enough Marines to buffer for these tanks, but with the auto turrets coming out from Gumiho, he's going to break through. He's going to keep pushing. Bjorn has a high army supply, but a lot of the supply is in Vikings.
Yeah, but Vikings, they can be landed. It looks like we're going for the land on the tanks. We're going to clean up the ground army here of Gumiho. We have some auto turrets being thrown down, but Bjorn, he does take the fight. GG gets called, and Bjorn will take the 2-0.
I tapped out too soon, but if I had to estimate, 300 Marines went down for Gumiho, for Bjorn. 220 for Gumiho, something like that. That is That was not a great map to be a Marine on, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. GG, well played. Beyond does take the series. It was an intense back and forth, but alas, Beyond was able to maintain his economic advantage, his economic lead. Beyond was always up at least one base. At times, he was up 2 bases. Because of that, Gumiho could not sustain himself. He could not survive and make it into a longer game, as he was losing units, losing Marines and Marauders and tanks. Couldn't replace them. Could not replace them.
That he could not. GG, man, that was very back and forth going. Yeah, that was very back and forth. I mean, you mentioned at a certain point, neither of our players are really fond of going for a slower kind of siege mech style or turtle style in TBT, and there was a moment where it thought like it didn't matter what the players wanted. That was just the direction the game was going to go regardless, and I think Gumiho was a little bit willing to try to slow things down, but Bjorn said no. I have other plans. I'm making 15 Marines at a time. I'm gonna use them. I don't care if they die, because I can replace them instantly, almost instantly.
Exactly. Did maintain ourselves. GG, well played. Bjorn will advance on to the grand finals, and he has a Terran player waiting for him. It's going to be Bjorn versus Clem in a best-of-5 grand finals.
I think the TBT we were all kind of waiting for. The Korean Clem going up against the Baguette Bjorn.
There you go. There we go. For those that are curious, for those who are maybe unaware, Clem is living in Korea. He has been adopted by the NA boys, Estrella, Trigger, and Future. They all have been taking care of Clem at an Airbnb in Korea. They've all been living together, and they've all been
Goblin in there somewhere as well.
Oh, yeah.
Just randomly Goblin as well from Croatia. Not Czechoslovakia, as we learned last week.
There you go. But yeah, they've all been staying there together, and likewise, they have been improving quite a lot. They've been practicing, and because of that, I would usually favor Beyond here. I mean, Clem's historically, everyone has a worse matchup. Historically, Clem has struggled the most in TBT. That's where he has been trying to focus most of his practice, I'm sure, but that's where Korea kicks in, right? Korea is the land of Terran. You've got Beyond, you've got Maru, you've got Bunny, you've got Gumiho. More importantly, you have Ryung as
the
well.
Final boss, yeah.
You've got
Ryung, the final boss.
So if you want to work on your TBT, Korea is the place to be.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Ah, man. He missed out by just about 2 or 3 years when he could have had the Terran gurus of Taeyang and Juan T1 special.
Okay, thought you were going somewhere else. Sure.
T1, special still does sometimes play. He doesn't really create content anymore. Unfortunately, he doesn't really do that. But I'm sure he can hit him up at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure if he ever needs to.
It'll be one of those scenarios, like one of those. It'll be like one of those boxing movies where the young, up and coming boxer finds a retired old legend who quit a long time ago, and he's like, "I'm retired. Kid, find another coach."
Really, that's actually what happened over the weekend. For those of you that were in our Discord server when there was a little bit of downtime, there were photos released of the NA team house with the Koreans playing indoor soccer.
True.
And MMA was there. MMA was a part of that. So
yeah,
potentially, Clem, he did get some wisdom from MMA. It's possible.
Yeah, it is highly possible. I'm still upset in that picture that they had to censor, or they didn't have to, but they chose to censor Impact's body. But
yeah. It was too big for the screen, too big for the photo.
It was. Everybody else would have kind of had to be squished to skied if that were to happen.
But it was really, really wholesome to see them all interacting together outside of just StarCraft. Another thing is if you look at that photo as well, Bunny looks so out of it. Bunny looks like it looks like he carried his team on his back. He was spent.
Oh, that was after the game?
Yeah, that was after the game. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was before for some reason, but yeah, okay, it makes sense. It does make more sense.
It was Bunny and Sue. Bunny and Sue looked the most worn out in that photo.
Yeah. Both of them off to the sides. Yeah. Yeah, SOS looking like he got ambushed or something.
Mm-hmm.
They realized that was a photo until the end.
It did look like
They were taking a photo until like the very end.
Like, what's going on?
SOS, look up. And he's like, huh? Oh. They look into the camera. He's like, what? Oh.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful.
But for now, we are going to be diving into this. The predictions in the chat will soon be open, so you can place your bets momentarily for the grand finals. Vetoes are done.
Yeah, it looks like in that photo, it looks like Bunny just got hit in the head a few too many times with the futsols, if you will. Or the futsal balls.
He tried to 1v1 impact, mate. It's That's the aftermath, Bob.
Oh, no. You know what? At least he was able to go against Impact.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I was in the presence of Impact, I would just fall. I would just fainted immediately.
The presence would be too much, but here we go. It looks like we have our vetoes, we have our lobby. We're jumping into game number 1. We're jumping into Oceanborn.
Indeed, we are.
Clem greater than Rain, greater than Dark. How dare you put anyone above
spicy.
Rain? How do you?
that's a spicy take.
How dare you?
Rain not being that you're gonna I can humor it, but you're gonna have to back it up. I'm never gonna agree to that. Just for the record, I'm never gonna agree to anyone being above Rain. Just for the record, but. Yeah. I'll be able to humor you, if you have an argument to back it up. All right, but anyway, here we go. We're gonna be sending it. Wait, which Rain? Now that I think about it, they never specified which Rain. Because if it's Terran Rain, then yeah, I can see that. If it's Protoss Rain,
it's Purple Rain.
Purple Rain, Chocolate Rain,
Chocolate Rain. That's it.
Who feels pain? Anyway, we're going to be kicking off our best of 5 grand finals here on Oceanborn. Over here in the top left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way. Here in the top left, we of course have our red Terran player coming out all the way originally from the land of France, but currently playing from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing his team, Team Liquid. We have Clem.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Björn. And again, if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you believe will claim the series will be our Terran or our other Terran. Up to you to decide. Again, Clem has been visiting Korea, has been there for, I want to say 3 weeks now. I think it's around 3 weeks, maybe just under a month of time, and has been improving quite a lot. We'll see if we can take it to beyond.
I like how I just realized. I like how when we were talking about Korea being the land of Terran players, we completely missed Clem's teammate in Cure.
Awesome.
I'm now realizing that. Yeah, well, Cure, unfortunately, yeah, he is a standard Terran for a reason nowadays.
We love you, Cure. We love you. We love you. But for now, we are going to be settling in. I mean, I name, look, I'm a Bunny fanboy, okay? So I had to name Bunny.
Yeah.
I had to name him.
Yeah.
For now, though, again,
we are CJ boys, you know. I understand, like, you know, you had that CJ fanboyism for a very long time. You were the mod for Entus.
That's not true.
I don't know. Something had on with Entus. Something. You have some kind of history with CJ Entus.
Sure. But we are going to be settling in. We do see Björn going for a faster expansion and Clem going for a double gas opener. So Björn is going to be a little bit more economic. Clem is going to be initially the aggressor here, as we're going to be opening up with Reaper Cyclone and headed into our 1-1-1.
Yeah, a lot more standard and a lot more economic coming out here.
So Clem getting ready for his drop play. Meanwhile, Björn is going to be the defender. He's going to be chilling back at home, waiting for what's to come. Clem should be the first moving out. There's also a world where both players move out with their drops and they miss each other, and then we both start losing workers, and things get really chaotic, and we could be heading in that direction as well.
It's a lot of potential, a lot of possibilities that come down in TBT, especially when you don't have to worry about ping. It's been beautiful to see Clem in these online events. It's playing to his full potential, not having to worry about delays in unit control.
Oh yeah, exactly. Both players can flex themselves, and here we go. Both drops move out, but Clem does scout the drop. He is aware of what's going on, and likewise, Björn does confirm as well. The drop is still moving out, and Björn does not quite have much in position to defend.
That he does not. Clem just gonna commit to this drop, and we'll be able to take out a couple of SCVs. Gonna, ideally, I guess, try to deny this gas geyser. Nice little bit of juggling coming out here from Clem. Not a lot of anti-air. Apart from this one cyclone.
Yeah, the one cyclone barely was not enough. Meanwhile, Marines, they drop across the map, and likewise, Clem also going to be bleeding out 3 SCVs, 3 for 3.
Here we go. Even worker count now. Well, Björn slightly ahead.
Yes, Björn did have he did have the faster expansion, the more economic build. But Björn did lose his cyclones, and Clem coming in with the intercept. Up.
He's gonna land. Up, Björn. You're supposed to evacuate, Björn. You're supposed to go.
You're supposed to keep going
that direction. Yeah. Just keep going. You're supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah, Clemmy does come in for the intercept, and Björn does stay hidden here in the dead space, so he's able to keep his build alive, or his drop alive, I should say, and we'll maintain it for now, but here comes the Viking.
Yeah, I was going to say, what a Chad bit move coming out here from Björn to not do the expected, but in the end, Clem will be able to clean it up anyway, just because of his natural production.
Yeah, he does shut it down. Third CCs on the way for both players. Now being thrown out for Clem. Slight lead here for Björn. So Björn has, again, the slight economic edge over Clem, but it is only slight. Not the biggest of deals, not the biggest of differentials. We're both just settling into Biotank.
Yeah, which is what we love to see in TBT. Marine Tank versus Marine Tank, or I guess in the case of Björn TBT, Marine Tank versus Marine Tank.
Well, Marine Tank.
Yeah, Marine Tank Marine versus Marine Tank.
Yeah, that's typically how things go. And I'm curious if Clem is confident against that kind of playstyle. Again, we saw him fall to it against Ryung earlier yesterday, but it's also very possible he just wasn't quite expecting that style out of Ryung as well. Like, Björn is known for that, so I'm sure it's going to be something that is in the back of Clem's mind.
Yeah, and plus on top of that, he's had about 24 hours to ruminate. Come up with some possible ways to learn from that and counter that a little bit better than he did last night.
Yeah, and even though Björn is going for the faster third, Clem is moving out to deny that third base. We've got 4 tanks, we've got 3 Ravens as well. Disable has been researched for Clem, and meanwhile, Björn not quite in position for this. He has his tank set up in his match 1 in his main, but not in his third.
And he has absolutely no vision of this coming down.
Yeah,
Björn is forfeit.
Yeah, he gets caught with his pants down. We established our base, or we try to establish our base, and it's going to be knocked down.
Up. Like so. No SCVs in position to repair it. Björn immediately forced to remake that third. And already Clem finds himself with a massive lead coming into the mid game.
Yeah, that is a massive pickoff, as you mentioned. Clem taking his own third base. Björn had just no idea of where the army was. He had no vision on the map. He had no Marines in position. His Marines were across the map instead, and he missed the move out. And just like that, Clem, I mean, he's looking to run away with this. I mean, sure, we might be able to pick off a tank with the stim. We can get a tank. That's nice, but that is still not good enough.
Yeah, but you know what? A tank and 2 SCVs?
Uh-huh.
Still not going to be enough, but it's a little bit of a sweetener.
Yeah, it's okay. Hey, we're getting more. We're actually getting more SCVs.
These 3 Marines.
They're actually popping off. They get 6. They almost get 7 SCV kills. Not too bad whatsoever. Does maintain control of the worker count. Björn has a comparable worker count at least, but still has inefficient mining. Still has no third base.
Yeah, just like that, Björn is still behind, but not as behind as he otherwise would be. Not as behind as he really should be. Now the Ravens coming out to harass as well. Bjorn doing everything he can to just try to keep himself back on even footing.
This also means that there's no disables back at home. It means he has no Ravens to help fortify himself, so Clem does have that advantage. He, I believe, has the Viking lead as well, and he does have the Viking lead. He's going to push on forward. We go for the sim. We try to focus down that Viking.
Yeah, stim on forward coming out from Bjorn. I believe he was able to, take out one Raven.
One Raven did go down, but we're still gaining ground here. Meanwhile, across the map, we get 17 SCV. Oh my god!
And just like that, Clem no longer has an economic advantage, but he still has a pretty massive army advantage. Huge tank count. He has these disables. 2 tanks of Bjorn going to be going down basically for free. Vikings are going to get completely reset here.
Yeah, but across the map, Clem's economy's in shambles. We're still getting more SCVs. 29, 30 SCVs is going to be going down. An insane amount of economic damage. Clem, he's basically all in.
Pretty much, and thankfully for Clem, he's all in with a very strong army, but is it going to be strong enough?
That's going to be the question here, as these tanks are looking a little bit exposed. Auto harass continues across the map. More workers going to be falling. 34 SCVs in total. Bjorn still unable to break out, but we are still building up our tank count. We're eventually going to be able to break out.
Yeah, we have vision, thanks to this medevac.
To have vision, one tank does fall. And at a certain point, Bjorn will be pulling the boys. We'll be breaking out of this contain.
You had me at Bjorn will be pulling the boys.
And he does commit, doesn't pull the boys, but does stim on 40. He gets on the tanks.
Yeah, tanks a little bit too exposed. Anti-armor missile does land, but unfortunately, not much of a follow-up. I say that, but reinforcements coming down. A lot of Marines coming in here for Clem, but the tanks are what he has to worry about. There's just not enough here, not enough supply here for Clem to really overwhelm this.
Yeah, and what a comeback for Bjorn. He is suddenly back in the driver's seat. Bjorn up in tanks, up in Marines, up in supply. He's getting on top of the final army here, and he's cleaning Clem up.
Jesus. Yeah, the army supplies are looking pretty comparable, but Clem right now has 6 medevacs versus the 2 of Bjorn. So Bjorn actually has a lot more damage, DPS potential. Now, his own medevacs, they're now out of energy, so his army doesn't have that much sustain on it, but I'm just really impressed here from Bjorn being so decisive with those Ravens earlier on.
Oh yeah, exactly. The Ravens, even the initial Marines, remember they got 7 SCVs, so even the Marines themselves were getting so much on. Give Bjorn man with gun, and he can pop off. He's laying siege upon the 3rd base. He has a massive lead here in supply, and can Clem somehow hold?
Of these 2 tanks, it looks like he just about will be able to. That tank going down here for Clem, but yeah, at the very least, he still has that other tank in the back line.
Yeah, exactly. You can see Bjorn trying to bait out those tank shots, and it looks like he will get the tank. Tank barely does go down. We have 2 more tanks coming out, but Bjorn is gaining ground. He's getting closer and closer towards the 3rd.
And now it's time here for Bjorn to slowly push forward, be a little bit more patient. Doesn't necessarily have to. No! The landed Viking immediately goes down to tank volleys.
Now Clem, he's up against the wall. He's up against the ropes right now. The base is under fire. Boys are being pulled to repair. We are still trying to mass up a Marine army. Tanks are slowly edging ever closer. We have to pull the boys.
And the boys will start to go down. Auto turret going to help out a ton. 2 tanks go down here for Bjorn. And it looks like Clem will just about be able to break this contain.
As we say that, double drop into the main base. SCVs are going down. Clem is being pulled apart. He can defend his 3rd, but not multiple locations at once. He just doesn't have the supply.
That he does not. Medevac's going to go down to the Vikings, but the Marines still have free reign in space. Finally, the Vikings will land, but that's not really going to help out too much in this scenario. Yeah,
we get 11 SCV kills. Another drop into the main. The Vikings are so low. They're so battered, so bruised. And Bjorn can collapse on top of those Vikings as well, as it looks like he will focus them down. At least right. He gets a tank.
And the tank, which is going to be absolutely crucial from here on out for Clem. Vikings somehow still alive, but that's the least of his concerns right now.
Yeah, as it looks like Bjorn is going to back off. He respects the Liberator. Marines, they stim on out, but Bjorn, he has 2-2. He has his upgrades kicking in. He has the upgrade advantage. He's going to be able to collapse on this army, and ooh, Clem gets caught out.
I almost want to say that was a fake-out retreat here from Bjorn.
just baiting the move outs from Clem, laying siege up on the base as well. The CC getting very low. The repairs are going to be good enough, but again, we're just containing Clem onto one base economy.
Those two tanks, man, going to do so much heavy lifting. GG is called, and Bjorn, after losing his third in the first 6 minutes of this game, just somehow claws his way back on even economic footing, wins the fights, wins the engagements, and then wins the game. GG. That was quite a comeback coming out from him.
That was insane. That was insanely impressive out of Bjorn to be in such a dire position, to be down a base, to be down an economy, to be stuck on 2 bases, and to pop off. He didn't even go for a marine drop. It was a marine run by. They just waddled across the map. They snuck into that mineral line. Likewise, the Raven harass was risky just because it meant that we had no disables back at home to defend, but we barely did hold on back at home, and we did annihilate the economy of Clem. He brought it back.
He absolutely did. Yeah, I guess he realized that he didn't need the disables necessarily, or even if he had them, it would have been difficult to land them when there are that many Marines on the map. So, yeah, Bjorn, he just identified his win condition. He identified how to get himself back, and it wasn't in winning that fight, because even if he had won that fight, Clem would have still been able to reproduce, still would have been able to replace those units that he had previously lost. So Bjorn just holed up on those 2 bases, took out, completely annihilated the mineral line, the 3rd mineral line, and also the main mineral line, I think. And from there, was able to just build a little bit of momentum that he just kept going.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, man, what a way to kick off our best of 5 grand finals. I was worried that we were going to have a slow one, but no, not at all if game 1 is any indication. But here we go. We're going to be continuing our series on Golden Aura, where we're here in the top left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top left, but also sitting in a CV across the map. We have our red Terran player, originally coming down from the land of France, but currently playing from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing his team, Team Liquid. He has 0 MS. We have Clem. Oh, getting scouted.
And spawning on, we deny the proxy. Clem attempted to proxy 2 racks, but Bjorn was all over him. I just said his name. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player for Shopify Rebellion leading the series and disrupting the opener of his opponent. It is Bjorn. So good start for Bjorn.
Yeah, good start for Bjorn. Not a great start here for Clem. Chat now catching up to the end of game number 1.
Yeah, I love the terminology there from Noam Chomsky saying ferocious, like the ferocity of Bjorn.
Fierce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's just bloodlusted at that point. He lost a little bit of... He took a bit of damage, and he just reciprocated tenfold.
It didn't even take a bit. I mean, that was a kill on his CC.
He took a lot of... Yeah, to be fair.
The pressure was on.
He just kept fighting.
Grace under pressure, bud. Crazy.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can call it grace under pressure, but, you know, ferocity. That's just a really good way of describing it.
For sure.
Fighting back when he was so far behind.
Definitely, and even here in this...
To be fair, he had nothing to lose, but everything to gain. And oh boy, he gained everything.
He did gain it all here. Meanwhile, behind this, Bjorn going for an economic opener, going for a Rax expand. Meanwhile, Clem going for a 1-1 setup with the double gas. His CC is going to be a little bit later. Likewise, his build in general is going to be a little bit later. As the Rax is delayed, the second SCV had to race back home, so some more inefficient mining. In general, a slight lead for Bjorn. But Clem isn't out of it yet, right? We even saw in the last game, you know, Clem had a massive lead, and Bjorn was able to bring it back. TBT always has that comeback potential, whether it's with positional play, I feel like positional play was a big part of that, as Clem was out of position, and Bjorn did take advantage of him, so yeah, we can always bring it back.
Yeah. The pendulum swings.
Oh yeah. 3rd CC.
And it rings.
Very good. For some reason, I was like, 3rd CC? No. We're expanding, taking our natural base.
The reason why we thought it was a 3rd CC is because Clem's economy did get delayed, let's not forget, or his build order, I should say, did get delayed, because that proxy did get immediately scouted and cancelled.
Yeah, as we're still looking to expand, still trying to get our natural up and running. Reaper dips into the main, and we can disrupt the production.
And there we go. Gonna have a later medevac. How are you gonna recover from that, Bjorn?
Yep, Jan.
Yeah.
Calm down, Jakob. There's some sass going on there. Oh my god. As we are just trying to settle in, get working towards our drop play. Likewise, Clem going to be dancing with the main army, trading out Reaper for Reaper.
Yeah. Nice little bit of stutter stepping as well, coming out here from Bjorn. Nice little bit of kiting. But now we have the cycling out, so we no longer need to kite. Well, I mean, I guess technically kiting is what cyclones do best, but you don't need to kite.
Yes, Clem is going for an interesting follow-up, rushing into a Liberator quite early on, moving up with his drop play, of course. Meanwhile, Bjorn does come across the drop, and with our counter micro play, it looks like, oh, Clem getting the better of it, does force Bjorn back.
Oh. Like so. Oh, but here we go. This is what was supposed to happen earlier in game number 1. Now happening in game number 2. The Cyclones being caught in the retreat.
Yeah, as Bjorn almost does shut down the drop, barely will escape. Bjorn does not turn around. He commits with his own drop across the map, and Clem is getting to a second Liberator.
Huh. You don't see that too well. Okay, here's the thing. You don't see that too often in TVZ, which is a matchup where Liberator openings are very common. You never see 2 Liberators in a TVT.
Yeah, I'm curious if this is just a harass or if we're going for a for a 2 base all in. I'm curious if Clem is going to be committing here with his 2 libs. The first one's already across the map, but we do have Marines back at home to defend. Likewise, Bjorn is being active, does find the move out. Oh!
And that medevac will get shut down. Cyclone's going to go down without taking too much damage either, but Bjorn, he does confirm the move out. Like you said, he does confirm that that is the tank in that army. I'm not sure if he confirmed the lib. Yeah, but he goes for a scan. He confirms the 111.
And that he does. Meanwhile, Liberator does survive. And here we go. Clem, he is going to be committed. He's moving and sending everything across the map. And we'll see if he can break through the defenses of Bjorn. Liberator getting a lot of damage done in the main base. A little lost mine time. And the main army is pushing in.
Yeah, there's 1 Viking available right now for Bjorn. And he doesn't really know where to send it. Oh, but the tank's getting on top of the tank of Clem. Unfortunately, not enough anti-air here for Bjorn. This Liberator going to be busting its way forward. Going to be sieging right on top of this.
And the Vikings, they might just be a little bit too late. Clem, he's breaking through towards that natural base. Vikings, they need a couple more seconds. At the same time, Liberator into the main base. More SCVs are going down. Clem pulling Bjorn apart.
Yeah, 3 SCVs go down to this assault. 6 total for Bjorn. But the Vikings are pretty much unhindered. They can continue to fight this. And it looks like Bjorn is going to be able to break out of this contain.
Yeah, behind this Bjorn, he's already got a 3rd CC. It's already morphed into an orbital, so he can just take a 3rd base real quick. Clem's still working on his own 3rd command center. It looks like without those Liberators, Clem is going to back off.
Like so. Oh. I got booted from Discord for a sec, but yeah, like so.
There we go. As we do have our 3rd base now being taken, Clem does not have it as an orbital yet, but he has map control. He has control of the, at least outside of the naturals, is containing Bjorn, and Clem is looking to take an economic lead.
Like so. I could be landing that, could be able to mine from his 3rd base much, much quicker than Bjorn will. Vikings? Questionable choice here from Bjorn.
Bjorn was not aware of the location of the tanks, and oh my god, he's gonna lose every single Viking. 1 Viking barely does survive, but that was 3 Vikings going down for Bjorn. Meanwhile, he scans, he confirms that his opponent is on 3 bases, so the pressure's on Bjorn to break out, to finally expand, and to get his own economy up and running.
Yeah, he's gonna have to try Auto turret harass come down once again to be unspecial. I'm not sure if this is a wise choice to try to fight the auto turret with the SCVs, but I mean, in the end, it does go down.
Yeah, only 3 SCV kills. I mean, that's better than losing 34, which is how many Clem lost in the previous game. So he does clean them up, does get back into mining. That was some damage, and the Raven does survive. We can always dip back in for some more auto harass. At the same time, Beyond does sneak out with a double drop.
And there are a lot of defenses back home here for Clem. His Marines, in addition to the Vikings, will allow Beyond to retake air superiority, air control.
Does have that air control. At the same time, double drop sneaking out across the map. There's not much at home to defend, so we can get into the mineral line. Bearing in mind as well, Stim is done for Beyond. Stim not yet complete for Clem. There is one tank on the high ground though.
Yeah, we'll see if it's able to get in position. Tis a little bit in the back line. SCVs immediately retreating to tank range. Absolutely crucial in keeping them alive.
Oh.
We are going to try a Marine bomb!
Oh,
or not.
Yeah, he actually does overshoot. He goes past the tank, getting into the main base, and more SCVs are going down. Oh my god.
Yeah, pulling SCVs to fight Marines, not ideal at all, especially when your opponent has Stim.
Yeah, exactly. Stim is now done for Clem. He will force us back. That was 16 SCVs go down. That was a full mineral line falling for Clem.
Indeed, it was. But when we look at the worker counts, Clem actually is still technically ahead by 2 workers. So, I mean, this is still good for Beyond. Don't get us wrong. But he hasn't actually broken out of this contain yet. He is still on 2 base economy and isn't quite able to actually make use of the fact that he killed so many of Clem's SCVs.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show how far ahead Clem was. So killing all those workers just evens up the worker count. And Björn going for another double drop. Likewise moving out with his main army. And it looks like he's looking to hit that CC once again.
Yeah, I'm going to try to. We do have a lot of reinforcements out from Clem starting to move across the map. So this might be the right call. We'll be able to at least get the tank.
Tank does go down. Nice pick off. At the same time, Clem is racing back home. It looks like finally Björn has broken the contain. Finally, Björn can take his own third base. Going further into the main base, an ambitious move here out of Björn, and he will get some SCVs.
Yeah, 4 or 5 more of them go down. Not too bad, but not as efficient of a trade compared to earlier. But now, this is the important bit. Björn has landed his third. He's was on an even worker count.
Yeah,
now things are going to slow down a bit.
Yeah, he has a comparable economy, dropping to the natural. Can he get the tank? Oh, he barely cannot the repairs are just in time. Clutch move out of Clem. He does save his tank. Meanwhile, drop in towards the main, but this time Clem is ready for it.
Yeah, he already has a tank over here and a couple of Marines to guard it. We'll be able to force a cancel on that assimilator. Assimilator? No, extractor. No, refinery.
Yeah, burned down.
The gas thing. The gas building.
Yeah. Not too bad. Likewise, Clem threatening a drop, but Björn now evening things up, and the game can settle down. Clem still has that worker lead, as you mentioned, but not as large as it once was. You know, now we have 3 base versus 3 base, and we can settle into our game 2.
Yeah, or will we? That's Clem. I'm just staring at that mini-map. He is... Okay, not loading up those screens, have I?
Yeah, he has the potential for a doom drop. We do see Björn scanning. He's checking for a 4th location, at the same time moving out with his own double drop. Clem does come across this. He is aware.
Oh. And immediately he's... Yeah, because he knows how many Marines were devoted to that or dedicated to that. He's just going to drop right into the main. We do have a couple of reinforcements here, but technically this will still be a larger army count for Clem. Or at least it would be if the medevac didn't go down.
Yeah, full medevac goes down. Good response. Very fast response out of Björn. Now Björn is hunting down those drops.
Oh, can he catch up? Can he catch up? They use medevacs to boost, don't they? Oh, they do.
They do have boost. They take a lot of damage, but they will be able to unload in time. Meanwhile, Björn going to be reinforcing towards the center of the map. He does not chase down those drops. He's going to be moving out instead, heading towards that 4th base. Now, here on Golden Aura, the 4th base is quite defendable. We have the high ground, of course. We have a very, very tiny ramp to push up. So not going to be an easy move out here from Björn. Instead, going to rotate towards a 3rd.
Yeah, but we already have tank lines. Full siege line being set up here. The tanks are beyond a little bit exposed. Clem trying to go for a little bit of a jump on top of them, but not quite able to. That's still way too many tanks to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. Both players, neither one did commit. They thought about it, but they did bounce off each other with their army movement, with their marine movement. Tanks are sieged, but as you mentioned, we have a solid siege line here from Clem, and Bjorn cannot gain any ground. Not yet. Oof.
Neither of them committed, though they thought about it. That sounds like a light somewhere. The tanks from Clem, very explosive here towards the right-hand side of the front line, and with that, Bjorn now has an opening to establish more of a foothold.
Yeah, Bjorn does outposition Clem. At the same time, Clem is reinforcement, so his drop across the map is deflected. And now, as you mentioned, Bjorn can actually work towards the right-hand side and get within range of that CC.
Yes, they try to at the very least. Vikings of Bjorn do rock up, and they do take out the Vikings of Clem. So now Bjorn is player with air superiority.
Yeah, that's going to be a kill in the CC. The third base goes down. Clem, he's being starved out. We're even going further towards the tank. Bold move out of Bjorn, but he does get it.
Yeah, once again, I think we're seeing a bit of a repeat of Bjorn versus Gumio in game number 2. It's just Bjorn sending wave after wave after wave of man with gun.
Yeah, and now he's made his way into the main as well. He's just created a path for himself through the third base into the main. The tanks are sieged, and now that ramp, it's going to be so difficult to force our way up it.
Yeah, especially with a couple of these tanks already in the backline for Bjorn. Liberator's going to try to do whatever they can. Marine's a little bit distracted dealing with them. So Clem going to be able to stim right on top of these tanks, take them out.
Yeah, we clean up all the tanks. Clem, he deals with the army in his main base at least, but we still have another force outside of his third. Likewise, reinforcements are on the way. Bjorn is not quite ready for this. He is a little bit vulnerable.
Indeed, he is. GG is called, and Bjorn gonna take us a match point. Up 2-0 into best of 5.
GG, well played. Once again, Clem had not a bad start. Remember, he was containing Bjorn on 2 bases. Clem had a faster third. He had a better economy, had a larger army. But once again, Bjorn, with his counterattacks, with his Raven harass, with his drop play, he was able to pull himself back into it. It's, yeah, crazy. Just the multitasking of Bjorn carrying him here and bringing himself back in.
Yeah, you say not a bad start here for Clem, but I remember that this game started with a failed proxy.
It did start with a failed proxy. Then Clem brought it back by moving out with, if you remember his initial Liberator move out. He had 2 libs, he had his tanks, and he was punishing Bjorn, and I thought Bjorn was going to die then and there. Like, that was a dire position for Bjorn.
Yeah, it really was, but once again, somehow Bjorn just staying on those 2 bases and managed to claw himself back into it and eventually win the game, potentially the series.
Oh yeah, potentially the series. I mean, I'm hoping it's not going to be a 3-0. I'm hoping it's not going to be over here and now, but the pressure is now on Clem. The pressure is on to bring it back and to make a series out of this.
Indeed, it is. So we have a little bit of a glitch coming on in the invites. There we go.
Yeah, it's if one of the players or observers are still in game when the ready check is started, then they don't get the ready check. So that's it's a bit of a nice feature of StarCraft. But it looks like here we go. We have our players ready. We're jumping into game 3 on Akion.
Indeed, we are. And you know, ordinarily, you would have the lobby set up, and then you would have the player or the observer who is still in the replay come out and then join manually before beginning. But for some reason, that doesn't work when you're in a party.
Nah. Technology, it's just not there yet.
Everybody has to ready.
It's just not there yet. Yeah, it's not there.
Yeah, what do you think? We're living in the 2020s? No, still 2013 as far as I'm. Wait, what? You mean it's not?
Nah.
Oh.
Getting old, Yaku.
Oh no, I can feel my youth just fall out of my hair. As we spawn into Alcione here for game number 3 of our best of 5 TVT Grand Finals. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom left, but also sending a SCV across the map once again. We have our red Terran player currently in a lot of trouble. as his opponent is on match point. Originally from the land of France, currently playing from the land of Korea. He's going to be representing his team Liquid, as well as Zero MS. We have Clem.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, getting 2 ranks, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Bjorn. As Yaku mentioned, up to 0-1 game away from becoming this week's champion. And this is going to be very middle of the road. It's going to be 1 Rax proxied and 1 Rax back at home. So it's going to be 2 Rax Reaper here with some faster reinforcements by that initial proxy. Not as committed as a proxy 2 Rax, but aggressive nonetheless.
Yeah, not aggressive, but not super committed, but still aggressive. It's an aggressive commitment, or a commitment to aggression. That's
kind of, sure.
Take a pick. Either one works, I think, grammatically speaking.
As Bjorn is going for an economic opener once again. He's done this every single game so far. It's been a Rax expand. This does give Clem the best opportunity to try to snowball out of control and delay the CC. We'll see if he can, as Reaper's going to be amassing, and Bjorn for the time being is in the dark. He's looking for the proxy, but he won't quite find it as it is a little bit further out.
Indeed, it is, and Bjorn... Wait a minute. Okay, no, this second gas is a little bit too late. I was like looking at the production. I thought, wait a minute, this looks like the coffee build, but it isn't. It's just a bit of a pseudo coffee.
Yeah, as the boys are being told, we delay the CC. We get 1 Reaper kill. The other Reaper will survive, and Clem does successfully delay the command center until the Hellions pop out. So Clem has controlled the low ground, and so far is doing well for himself.
Yeah. And all of this, Clem himself, not yet getting his own base, but he should be getting it pretty soon. Yep, the SCV just got into position, so he's going to be able to continue, or create a bit of a lead for himself.
And meanwhile, the Hellion has arrived. Now, finally, Bjorn can break out. The Hellion is getting quite low, though. We have to be very careful with that Hellion. Without it, we cannot regain control of the low ground as we pick up another Reaper. We still have 2 left over, and once again, Clem is still trading well. He wants that Hellion! Oh!
Yeah, is he going to get it? Just barely will. But on the second Hellion, no!
We have a second Hellion, and Bjarni holds. He finishes up the CC, and he will still have a faster command center compared to Clem, so Bjarni still will have that economic advantage. As I say that, more Reapers are coming in, and Clem is still looking for more damage.
Looking, but not finding it. Oh, but we have a Hellion of his own coming in forward. Will take out the Hellion of Bjorn.
And we'll be able to get the Hellion. Nice auto stepping out of Bjorn. He shuts down the Hellion. Very nice control with those Marines, and Bjorn will hold. He does defend. Clem is still rallying across the map, but now he's given up on the proxy. He's floating back home, and we are going to be settling into a longer game.
Indeed, we are. Very explosive start to game number 3, but now things are going to be calming down quite a bit.
Yeah, and any kind of lesser player here in the shoes of Bjorn would have died then and there. They would have fallen, so very nicely done. Bjorn does hold. Clem unable to break through, but it's still being quite active. We have double Reaper into the main. We have Cyclone towards the natural.
Yeah, but both will end up getting deflected somewhat, as, okay, 2 SCV kills, not too bad here for Clem.
Yeah, the Cyclone just got sniped, by the way, so with the Cyclone falling, now Bjorn, he breaks out. We have a drop towards the left, we have Hellions, Cyclones reinforcing from the ground, and Bjorn, he's moving out across the map, and can Clem hold on?
I have to say I worry for him. Thankfully, we are on Alcione, so it's a pretty large map, but I guess the medevac does help out a ton in that regard. We don't actually have a Cyclone with this army of Bjorn. It is only Marines, so the Cyclones of Clem are going to be enough to chase him back.
Yeah, Bjorn's reinforcements were a little bit too late. The Cyclone, as you mentioned, was a little bit delayed there for Bjorn. So Clem, he holds on, he survives, he defends. And we are getting into the swing of things here. Both players going to be expanding, or at least, actually, my apologies. Clem is taking a third CC. Bjorn, do you see what I see, Yaku? There's no third base. That is a second starport.
Oh boy.
Juanito.
We're gonna pull the lips down.
Yeah, we're going for a bit of a Juanito here. Meanwhile, the drop into the natural base. Clem does scout the starport. Big scout. SCVs are going down as well. Beyond losing a lot of workers, losing far too many.
Yeah, this is game ending at this point, especially if you were playing to go for anything with starports or stargates or starports.
Yeah, as we do see Beyond committing across the map. Instead, boys are being pulled so far. Good stutter stepping out of Beyond. Basically, what Beyond was doing was a two-base all-in. Two-base all-in out of Beyond, but last is going to be disrupted. A lot of SCVs going down. 19 SCVs do fall. Bearing in mind that Beyond wasn't really planning to invest too heavily into them, but at the same time, we only have SCVs to defend back at him. Clem is losing too much.
Yeah, unfortunately, the damage has reciprocated. The SCV damage has reciprocated. We had a tank in the high ground, but it was not going to be enough. GG is called, and Beyond is going to be your ESL Open Cup Asia number 239 champion.
GG, well played. I love this term out of Jadolf. He said, it's the I'm afraid of commitment to Rax.
Yeah.
True.
Well, look.
I mean,
Clem, he's young. He's got years to get used to commitment.
True. But GG, well played. Clem was doing quite a bit of damage there, and he did force a lot of chaos. I mean, so many SVs were going down for both players, but Beyond barely had too much. We did catch each other off guard. Beyond had nothing to defend back at home, neither did Clem, and Beyond did break through. The series ends here and now. We don't get a back and forth. A very, very nice performance here out of Beyond.
Yeah, that was just a very ferocious night from him, just right from the very beginning. Unfortunately, we weren't quite able to get our eyes on him versus Classic, but versus Shin, versus Gumiho, and versus Clem, that was Gumiho versus Shin. Yeah, and in these TVT matchups, he is just, it's like he woke up and chose violence. He saw Ryung last night at WTL, and something awoke in him. Like, to be fair, this is kind of his style of TVT. This is what he does very, very often, but he's just really committed to it today.
Oh yeah, GG, well played. Like, and what I should say as well, even though Beyond did take the series 3-0, it was not a clean 3-0. Like, a lot of these games were very tense, very back and forth. Clem,
very
multiple
dirty,
times, yeah, multiple times in these games, Clem had a lead and was ahead, and things were looking dire for Beyond time and time again. But he brought it back. Even in this last game, Beyond was losing more SCVs sooner, faster. Like, his economy was in shambles, but he didn't care. He had that killer instinct to commit.
Yeah, he had that killer instinct, but it also was kind of a certain logic as well. It wasn't just instinct. It was, I'm losing my SCVs, so that means I have to take your SCVs out.
You know what it was? You know what it is? Beyond, he's not afraid of commitment. Okay, he's not.
Exactly.
he's willing to embrace. He will always stand by you. He's there for you, Pap. He's there for you through thick and thin, through old and young.
Just
sick
ask the puppy.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So, so Beyond is there for you. And whenever things are looking rough, things are looking tough, Beyond, he just doubles down. He does move out across the map, and yeah, he just goes Super Saiyan. You know, we saw the best out of Beyond when he was under pressure.
Yeah. What is that character? When they bleed a little bit, that's when they go loose and they just, whatchamacallit? Bloodlusted. You know, they feel the sensation of pain on their skin, and it's just 0 to 11.
There you go. I'm sure there's a lot
The
of...
Hulk. No, it's not the Hulk.
Okay. That's not the Hulk, but sure. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Berserk, kind of.
Berserk. There we go.
I don't know if you've seen Berserk. I don't know if you...
I'm slightly familiar.
Okay.
I feel like I played a Berserk Flash game back in the day.
There you go.
Before I knew what the anime was. Or the manga.
Yeah, the other things, there's a lot of anime of Berserk on Netflix, but it's all like CGI, like animated anime. And it's like a
CGI?
Yeah. As it's not like it's not like traditional animation.
Oh, it's not like drawn.
Yeah. It's not drawn.
Yeah.
But regardless, GG, well played. Congratulations to Beyond, as he is this week's champion. My condolences to Clem, but alas, I'm sure this is good practice for Clem nonetheless. Again, he is looking to improve his TVT, and where better to do it than Korea?
Yeah, the land of Terran.
Oh yeah. Land of Terran. With that, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Thanks so much for watching. That is going to conclude our broadcast for the day. If you want some more CranKy Duckling action, we're going to be back tomorrow with ESL Open Cup Americas in in around 11 hours time. So again, if you are unsatiated, we got you covered in 11 hours.
Yeah, around there. A little bit of a shorter broadcast today. But I guess that we did have a little bit of a lower turnout, so to be expected, really, as I believe it has been confirmed. This is the final week of ESL Open Cup before the Esports World Cup.
Yeah, the Esports World Cup is on the horizon, and it's not just that. After EWC, we also have WTL, we also have World Team League as well, so just back-to-back event after event. Meanwhile, after EWC, you know, the future is still shrouded in a little bit of mystery, and we'll see what does get announced. Regardless, hope you all enjoy the upcoming events. Support it as well if you do, of course, wish to have StarCraft continued on into the coming years, whether it's with EWC, whether it's with EPT, whether it's with WTL as well. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of potential on the horizon here, and a lot to come.
Indeed, there is. So stay tuned for all of that. Keep our Ethernet cables and our fingers and our everything crossed. That we'll get some news in the next couple of weeks.
There you go. Likewise, there's of course other RTSs coming out. There's Immortal Gates of Pyre had their free weekend this weekend. We have, of course, Stormgate with their early access, which did begin last week as well. There's still Battle Laces that I think they're currently closed off, but I'm sure they're going to have like another open beta or something at some point. And there's a lot of RTSs coming out.
Yeah. Zero Space going to come down the line. I think there was one that was announced a couple of weeks ago. That was, I'm finding it, Dust Front RTS.
Oh my god. Okay, I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also, I'm pretty sure Dreamhaven, they were working on their own RTS as well, which is...
They were, weren't they?
Also on the horizon, yeah.
The Mike Morheim company. That's what I call it.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, Dreamhaven, I think they partnered with Frost Giants, but they're still working on their own game as well. So there's also that coming out. So yeah, there's a lot on the horizon, a lot to be excited about. But regardless, we're always going to be here with your daily StarCraft. Again, tomorrow is ESL Asia. We also have STCs. We have plenty of other events this weekend, and we may have the return of the podcast.
Yeah.
There you go. Soon TM.
TM-ish. The annual monthly time.
Yeah, we don't want it to be annual. We want to make it a little bit more consistent, but you know, we still have to refine and figure out. We have to iron out the details for the podcast. But regardless, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much for the support. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things CranKy Ducklings. If you want to be notified when we go live. And Yaku, what's happening with you next? When's the next stream?
Yes. At the very latest, August 20th or 8/19th, depending on how I do it out. Yeah. So that will be happening. I might do 1 or 2 streams beforehand to just test things out, but I might also forget to do that. But there's going to be one in at least 2 weeks.
There you go. For those who don't know, it's Yaku's birthday. It's Yaku's birthday in 2 weeks. Don't get ahead of yourselves. In 2 weeks' time, it is going to be his birthday. So Yaku is planning that annual stream over on his channel. So consider supporting, consider following.
If you know,
Yaku.
You know.
Yeah. It's going to be quite.
I'm going to reveal what it is to those who don't.
So definitely something to look forward to. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Yaku, do you have anything you want to say before we head off for the night?
Yes. If you cannot find either Light or myself, know that it is because we were sent to Samsung Dong, or whatever it is. Know that it is. Know that that's where we are.
There you go.
I think I'm not in it anymore.
It's
weird.
Fine. I left it.
I don't remember leaving. I don't remember joining it. I don't remember leaving it. I'm still in it. Okay, there we go. I have no idea.
For those who don't know what's going on, when we went to the Asia server, for some reason, both Yaku and I had joined a random Korean server, like Korean chat channel. And
chat room, yeah.
Yeah, chat room, and we had not joined it ourselves. We were just in it, and we were very confused.
Yeah.
But regardless, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We'll see you guys tomorrow for ESL Americas. Until then, thanks for watching. Hasta luego. Ciao. Ciao.
Bella.